Sunday, 14th June. Hello, hello. We're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Everybody come on and pile on in. We have the usual assortment of information, news topics to talk about this morning, in addition to adding a bit of perspective, adding a bit of common sense into the discussion, which is something very rare with Haiti. And everyone's guilty with that, from CNN to Fox to actually the most common folks to add the nonsense. So, l'autre haïtien toujours on m'a drôle pour ajouter dans la conversation. I mean, I always say the most cynical people on the planet. It's my fellow Haitians, but it's all good. We all love you. At the end of the day, too, it's on things that change to change cynicism. It's all good. Yeah, I'm not here. I'm not critiquing, but nonetheless, this is a non-cynicism zone. Most of the time, we stick to the facts. We stick to conversation. So as folks come in, welcome. As we know, Sunday, 11 a.m. Haiti Biz News. We're here. We're conversating. Those who can catch this live, just as you know, everything is read live on air. Every comment is read and responded to. So those who are here, who are piling in, welcome. You certainly appreciate it, and we do value that conversation that you're adding. The best shows are the shows that ultimately add that sort of value. And in fact, as I'm looking around, I forgot a very important piece of information for myself, actually. In fact, before it gets too full in the room, let me very quickly get my little cup of water. So y'all just pile on in, grab a seat, and I'm gonna grab a bit of water before we get started. I need a little sippity sip. If you guys keep me around like the 2.5 hours we've been doing, I'm gonna be in trouble without no water. So y'all bear with me. Yeah, pile on in. Okay, water's on deck. Water is on deck. Crisis averted. In fact, let me get a little sippity sip even now. Okay, we ready to go. We ready to get a show on and going and popping. So, yes, come on in. We got a whole week of things to talk about that have transpired throughout this week here in Haiti, and certainly, we are very happy to have another week to share. Of course, as folks pile in, remember YouTube SeeJeanty. Okay, YouTube SeeJeanty. We have a lot of content, a lot of different things we've put together over almost 2 years plus. SeeJeanty's been around, and it's with the focus of driving and showing you guys there's a lot more to Haiti than what you guys have seen and heard. There's businesses, there's tourism, there's historical sites, all these things I love showing, in addition to conversations we have with other entrepreneurs who moved back, in addition to just myself giving my experience as someone who has a few different ventures there, who moved back 3 years back, how to transition, because again I'm not here because I could have been successful by myself in Haiti doing what I do, without ever going on media. But the goal is to get other folks in the country and get other folks to help change, because then the one man cannot change a damn thing, but certainly a assortment, an army of people can, and that's why we do what we do. So YouTube SeeJeanty is a starting point for that call to action by showing you. And so check out, go to YouTube SeeJeanty, hit that big red subscribe button if you haven't yet. It's really how you can best show me that love and affection and appreciation, right? Just going on there, hitting that subscribe button, and sharing your favorite videos, right? All right, so that's YouTube SeeJeanty. Of course, while we haven't been in the country, we still want to keep that conversation going, still have that content creation occurring, and so that's why we have the podcast. The podcast is on all platforms, in addition to YouTube and Facebook, but we also have it on Spotify. We have it on Apple. We have it on Google. We have it on everything, right? And when we had an incredible episode last. If you have not seen this episode, what are you guys doing? What are you guys waiting on? This episode, we featured Rochelle Sanav, right? This is the woman that Amazon Prime, La Belle Vie, right? Documentary director, the future Duvernay, I forgot her first name, but Duvernay, the future Haitian Duvernay. She created an incredible documentary where the Haitian diaspora, as a Haitian diaspora, and documented her experience growing up in a foreign land, being born in a foreign land and growing up in a foreign land, and knowing of her background, her culture that was been deprived to her because of course, circumstances, including a Duvalier regime that forced exile a lot of well-educated, very productive people. And then, of course, her re-engagement in that, her coming to terms with who she is and coming into Haiti and being called blanc and just the culture shock that is a Haitian diaspora trying to reconnect and be part of. And I can speak to that. I can speak, and anyone who is trying to engage in the country, Haitian descent, can feel and can certainly have that experience. It's like, this is what I would produce if I had inclinations to do a documentary. Probably one day when I do a documentary, it's probably be something in that same vein, right? But from my perspective. And so once I saw that, I was like, okay, I gotta turn heaven and earth to try to get Rochelle on this show, or at least Rochelle on the podcast. Fortunately, I got a hold of her. Fortunately, she said yes. And so it's an hour conversation about her process, our conversation about her background, our conversation about just what it took to get that production done. And of course, once you're finished watching it, there's links on that video you can of course watch it on Amazon Prime for free, but we want to support Rochelle, and Rochelle is someone, she lives by her craft. She is a professional a filmmaker. That's what she does. And so if you liked what you saw on Amazon Prime, you can always double up on that support and appreciation by going to her Vimeo and buying the actual documentary, giving her some support from that perspective. Or you haven't watched it on Amazon Prime, you can just watch it directly on that Vimeo platform, right? Again, the link is on the video. So go check it out on YouTube, the podcast. Once you're done watching it, go and purchase, right, that video. Just show her support, because again, we need to support people like her who are doing just incredible work towards that cause. So certainly appreciate that, right? And of course, we want to say what's up to a few folks who are coming in. So Since for Life, what's up? Good morning, Paula, what's up? Good to see you. One of my favorite people in South Florida. Good to see you, Paula. Is the embassy open? My fiance, nope. And that is the embassy open. I'm not the American embassy. I'm not too sure. I'm not sure either way. I wouldn't know. I don't, frequent the American embassy, so no clue on there. And of course, Keith Martin. Hello, good morning. Good to see you. We got Michael Uns Jr. already dropping some donation love in the chat. I certainly appreciate it for real. And of course, last week was just an incredible episode. I had so many donators. But let me preface this by saying the better way to donate, right? I'm gonna drop this ticker tape, right? The better way to donate, if you're so inclined, is by doing it through the Cash App. The reason why is Cash App, YouTube takes a little percentage out when you donate through their program. That's number one. And number two, I get it right away. YouTube, you get disbursements once a month, right, after a threshold. And so, those who are so inclined to give, certainly I appreciate it. It helps. It adds to the war chest of content. All that you provide is going to go to allowing me to, once I get back, do the episodes that really folks really want. They want these out of Port-au-Prince episodes. They want these going to Jacmel, going to Mirabale, going to Ish, going to, out of the city to see the real Haiti. And my most popular videos and the ones that are most appreciated are always those, right? And so to get more of that content, that is what it goes towards. So certainly appreciate it. So again, anyone who wants to donate, I didn't even put it on last week, but certainly if you're going to donate, the Cash App is the best way because you get it right away. Right away, I get to store it, put it aside instead of waiting for it. All right. But again, however you want to give, I am, beggars are not choosers. So certainly appreciate it, and of course, I do want to make sure folks do get shout out too when they do donate through the Square Cash, because when you do donate this way, you do get a certain recognition. For example, here you got Michael Unge, who gave a little bit just now, so I appreciate it. But again, I want to on the ticker tape. The following week, I always will give folks a specific shout out. If you don't want to be shout out, you message me, and I won't put your name down there. But Janelle Dominique, thank you so much. Whitland's Altidore, thank you so much. Stephen Pierre, one of my guys who are very consistently, even before it was cool, to help SeeJeanty out. He was always providing a little something to help them with the mission. So again, Stephen Pierre, again, you're a veteran. I certainly appreciate you as well. Thank you so much for that. Philly Dom's in the house. Philly Dom, what is up? How you doing, man? I hope of course, he's dropping daily videos out there in Haiti. For those who really want to see I'm talking a raw, unfiltered. Even my videos, there's a little edit. There's some edits here and there. I try to really tell a particular story, but Philip just gives it to you direct. It's him, his camera, walking around, talking to people, giving that raw in Haiti perspective. So again, if you don't know who Philly Dom is yet, right now he's chatting us up right now in the chat here on YouTube. So go give him a follow. He's a heck of an interesting guy. So what's up, Philly? Happy to have you, brother, in the chat, man. You're the man. Right. And then, the Cash App is posted. You see it on the little ticker tape. It's hashtag. Let me just type it in just to help you guys out a little bit. Hashtag or $sign SeeJeanty. Right. $sign SeeJeanty. Right. Of course, Tori Andre, good to see you. What's up, man? Amray Bell, good to see you. Edwin William, good to see you. A lot of my regulars are in the building. What's up? Happy to have you. Of course, listen, we're not here to hit you folks up. I don't want this show to be that. I'm here to give the news, whether I have it or not. I started it without nothing. I'll keep doing it without it. The most important thing you can do for me is sharing the stream. That's it. Share the stream, right? If you're on Facebook, Instagram, share it to a few folks, in your personal contacts. If you're on Facebook, and you can not only share it on your personal page, but you can share it in groups. Like on Facebook, there's like Haitians living in Tampa, Haitians living in Florida, 10,000 Haitians living in New York, Haitians there's Haitians in Chicago. So drop them in those groups, right? And of course, anywhere else, start a watch party. That's another thing you can do. Start a watch party. Invite a couple friends who who are interested in Haiti, who don't have a news source that gives it to them in English, unbiased, with a little bit of analysis. Got to give a little salt to it, right? So again, that's the most important thing you can do to help us out, is to share that stream. So go ahead and share it if you haven't done so yet. Let me say hello to a few other folks who are coming in. Ma Liberté Financière, good to see you, my brother. Always happy to have you in here. I love seeing my regulars. I love seeing the guys I always seen come in the chat, say what's up. As you guys know, I read everything on air. So don't be shy. This is a non-shy zone. I need you to respond. Talk to me. I need co-hosts. I need people to contribute to the value being added, right? I mean, I am living in the country. I am engaged. I do my research, but still, I don't want it to be a one-man show. And thankfully, you guys have consistently not made it that. You guys have always contributed to the conversation. Let's keep that going. Don't hesitate. Chat with me. All right. So with that out the way, let's talk about some headlines. What are we going to be talking about today? Got lots to talk about today. We have, of course, COVID. We got to talk about COVID. Going to give you the numbers, right? See where we're at. We have public aid. Lots of things have happened. For example, USAID has provided quite a bit of money recently to help fortify some things. So we're going to talk about that. EU and the World Bank, they've stepped up, and provided some aid. We're going to talk about what they've done. Airports are reopening. So I know a lot of folks have hit me up personally. SeeJeanty, what's going on with the airport? I got a ticket. I got a flight coming up. I need to get back in the country for my businesses, blah, blah, blah. What's going on? I get this, every other day. What's going on? Of course, I respond best I know, which has been, the airport's still closed and it's still onerous to get in the country. But so we have some information. We're going to provide a real important update on that. right? National budget figures. Ooh, we're going to get in the sauce today. Oh, you know me, guys. Economics major, undergrad, graduate. Just I'm a bit of a geek, numbers guy, right? I got some numbers to look into today. We're going to be talking numbers. We got the national budget's been passed only about a year late. We're already about let's see, June. We have about 6 months to go, but yeah, okay, it's Haitian. It's Haitian government. Sorry, you can't have too high expectations, right? For things being done on time. 1 day, 2 days, 6 months, it's all the same thing for the Haitian government. So anyways, we got the numbers. We're gonna look into it. We're gonna see and compare, how things are looking last year to this year. There's a little update I'm going to provide on something we talked about last week, which is the rental update. I'm going to ajoute a little something there. Agriculture recap, right? There's been lots of activity happening in the agricultural sector, and so we are going to give an update on that. And finally, something really important, big news. In fact, I probably should have that in the headline. I mean, that's how big it is. The Northern landfill. There's an update to that. We're going to talk about that today. Okay, so that's the show. That's what we have to talk about. Lots of meaty subjects, meaty topics. We probably are going to be pushing that 2 hour mark, probably, but we'll see. See if we can get out of here. Maybe an hour and a half or so. We'll see. No matter to me. I'm here. Sundays, chill day. My wife asked me because I'm a guy. I'm a workaholic. I'm working doing my businesses, and then I work as a consultant stateside, doing analytics, doing different things. I'm a mentor. I do a bunch of different stuff. And, when do you take a break? Of course, my family knows me. I'm always in my office, always working away. When do you take a break? When you have a day off? I say, listen, I have moments. I just need moments. I don't need to. What would I do with a full day off? I would have no. I go crazy. It's like being solitary confinement. But my moments are moments like this, right? When I'm here, I'm talking to you guys. Right. These are my relaxation moments, actually, believe it or not. So I'm just happy to be here. Happy to chat with you guys. So here we are. Good stuff. Again, good morning. For a couple folks in IG, good morning. Right. So let's get into it. First piece of the news. COVID, MSP. Right. Did not provide an update yesterday. And so the numbers I'm giving you right now is actually Friday numbers. Okay, Friday numbers. And MSP is the Minister of Santé Publique, Minister of Health, and they didn't give a reason why there's not an update. They just didn't update, right? And so the numbers as of Friday, we had 3,853 active cases, right? And to put that in context and perspective, that's 500 new cases. I mean, they're at 500 new cases within like a 40-hour period last week. They had 500 new cases, right? So the numbers are blowing up. That means, for 1 day, almost 2 days, we averaged 250 new cases, right, in a 48-hour period, right? We're up to 64 deaths and 24 healed, right? So the numbers are just, within just literally the past month, we grew to over like the 33,000 active cases. We grew 3,000 cases in just a month, right? Right now, Haiti is, I believe, in the second position of cases. Certainly will be in the first as time goes on, especially as some of the news I'm going to give you updates on. To give perspective, it's always important to give DR. We share an island, so it's really important to provide that perspective. DR is at 8,686 active cases, 8,686 active cases, about 568 deaths, and 12,754 healed. We have a little more delineation of the metrics. We have 114 in intensive care right now, and we have exactly about 5,851 in home quarantine. Okay, and so so those are the numbers. Certainly is the numbers have continued to increase, not decrease. We certainly have not plateaued, as I've expressed many times. When it's all said and done, this crisis is most likely going to be at the most significant crisis in terms of deaths Haiti has had since the earthquake. And so we have to prepare, as I always, segment out of this section. I always consult and advise you guys, if you have any family in Haiti, if you have friends in Haiti, give them a text. Hey, how are you doing? Make sure, are you washing your hands? Are you using your mask? Right? Are you taking those precautions? Are you keeping 6 feet away from people? Right? Don't let up. Don't go to customs. Don't go any bars. There's a lot of folks are trying to sort of open themselves up. Even the prime minister, one we're going to talk about in a minute, is trying to open things up. Make sure you call your family out there and tell them, yo, hunker down. Until there's a vaccine, we're not out the clear, right? And that's really the best we can do, unfortunately, for now, for Haiti. As you know, the government has not invested in the proper infrastructure that could have protected people in the first place, right? And so we're just kind of here playing catch up and just keeping our fingers crossed. Truly, it's very frustrating to be. I'm sure as so many people are also in, which is a feeling of powerlessness. It's frustrating, but certainly we'll take whatever we can in terms of what we can do. And what we can do is informing and nagging. I want you guys to nag the hell out of your peoples out there in Haiti, and to make sure they're safe and being part of that solution. Okay. And a quick secondary update too. So far, the government has reported they've given out 9 million masks to the population as a whole, which is a pretty good number. Remember, we have 12 million people in the country. You get 9 million. That's a sizable percentage, right? Even if these numbers are exaggerated, even if we were to say half, 4.5 million went out, that's still a heck of a lot of masks and heck of a lot of people who now have at least something in terms of protection, especially in a country like Haiti, where folks have to be out to eat, right? If you don't go out to eat for like mama segas and a lot of people, you're going to die, right? So if the hunger doesn't kill you, COVID will, but at least that's going to help you, keep that chance lower, right? So that's that news piece, right? Before we move on, so what Mini 99, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you for that $5. Of course, everything and anything aids, everything and anything is of assistance, certainly. When it comes to building the war chest. The war chest, of course, is to go out and produce. Once we can't get back in the country, one of the places top on that list is Jacmel. I got to get Bassemblé. That place needs to be documented on SeeJeanty. And so in addition to a bunch of other places. So thank you for that, Watt Mini. And of course, remember, guys, impact in terms of donation. If you Cash App, if you guys don't have Cash App, get that Cash App. It's a little better because you get that money directly with no fees. YouTube will take a little percentage out of that thing. And also, I got to wait until like 2-3 weeks until I finally got Tigre. And so those, and it goes, I'll still give you that credit. I'll still give that shout out next week. Your name will be on that ticker tape with appreciation and thank you. So, but either way, donations are appreciated, however you want to give it. And of course, for those who want to put anybody on the spot, you're more than welcome. Share the stream. Sharing is free and impacts just as well. Because again, we're trying to get the return on information, right? The more people who are part of the stream, who are receiving the information, the more people who now have a much less partial perspective of the country. And hopefully that less partial perspective will encourage people to act, encourage people to invest, encourage people to do business and effectively provide jobs and then change the country, right? So certainly appreciate that. Much appreciated. Now, moving on. So we got public aid. We got to talk about that. So the USAID, $2.5 million. Right? I'm going to say that again, $2.5 million. USAID has provided to IOM Haiti, right? $2.5 million to provide to IOM Haiti, specifically to prepare for the hurricane season that's coming. They've started to store relief supplies, for example, hygiene kits, plastic sheeting, water tanks, blankets, shelter kits. So a lot of things are being prepared because we're in hurricane season already. I know, in fact, I got some associates up in Tallahassee, Mississippi, and around that, Louisiana, and they've been hit by a tropical storm already. They've already been hit by a tropical storm, right? And so hurricane season is active, and it's happening right now. And so we have to genuinely be on top of that. And Haiti, of course, has been wrecked recently because of Hurricane Matthew, of course, still recovering from. And so that's much needed. EU and World Bank has also stepped up. They said that preparing for hurricane season specifically, they're paying $11 million for the risk for the premium of Haiti. So just so you know, Haiti is part of a Caribbean-wide insurance program, the Caribbean something insurance, right? And what that is specifically, it's to help. It's basically it's an insurance of insurances, right? And so, in addition to helping the government with some things, so when a hurricane or something natural like a massive disaster happens, immediately that money is dispersed to insurance companies in the country, and in addition to the Haitian government to help with aiding financially certain aspects of the business community and people who are suffering and affected by that storm. Before this insurance program existed, payouts happened, 6 months to a year after. I'm having some issues. It doesn't say there. You guys let me know. YouTube how it's here for a proper payout, right? Which is very problematic, right? And so the insurance program has been instrumental in helping resilience of responses. And so the EU and the World Bank have been just so you understand, usually Haiti spends about $1 million into this pot. And so 11 million is effective. Seems as if we are. You guys let me know on Facebook, YouTube. I'm seeing some kind of buffering happening on my side here. So you guys let me know how it's coming through on YouTube and Facebook, right? You guys let me know. Talk to me. How's the stream coming on Facebook and YouTube? Talk to me, guys. Is it coming smoothly? Is it, you guys can hear me? It's not buffering. It's a little shaky, huh? It's a little shaky. Okay. Let's keep watching that. I just saw 5 bars come up on my internet there, so maybe we're good now. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. Okay. So yeah, good morning to a lot of folks coming in. Peterson, Lucian, morning. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good morning. Right. Certainly. Thank you, Wilner Kalextet. What's up? Bonjour, chef là. Non, chef là, c'est au même bala. Chef là, subo pao. Daniel Dodar, said shaky. Facebook's freezing. Now it's good. Laggy on YouTube. Now it's good. Okay, I think it should be good now, guys. I think it should be good now, because I don't know, something was going on my internet. I saw the bars were very low, but we should be good now, guys. So again, let me know immediately. Anybody who sees any buffering or anything, please drop a comment. Let me know. I can try to change the connection really quick because quality of the stream is important. Quality of the stream is important. We were talking about serious information, serious things here. I want to make sure the quality of the stream is up to par, right? So guys, let me know. Keep the stream earnest for me, right? So let's keep it going. Let's keep it moving. By the way, what's up, Johnny Celestin? Good to see you, man. Good morning, Gary Tech. Absolutely same thing. Good to see you guys. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Certainly appreciate you guys watching. Airports resuming. That's the next news story I want to talk about. Airports resuming. Now, we just spent a chunk of time, talking about COVID, the fact that we're seeing massive increases of cases, right? Very problematic, right? But Prime Minister Juth, right, has expressed throughout this entire week that he wants the airports reopened. As those in America, we're seeing there's a big push for things to reopen. There's been gradual reopenings all across the country. And in the world, too, we're seeing economies across the world saying, hey, we have to reopen. We're going to do our best to take precautions, right? But we have to reopen the economy. Airports are, set to reopen across even America. I think they had a specific set date for September for international flights to come in. I know I got a few associates who do taxi, and they're telling me that domestic flights are starting to pick up. They're starting to see some activity at some of the airports. They're starting to make some of their money back, which I'm very happy to hear. A lot of taxi drivers, a lot of Haitian taxi drivers out there, very happy to have, them starting to make some income again. So things are starting to resume a little bit, right? But of course, at the same time, too, in America, we are seeing a pretty big spike in cases, right? Very problematic. It's a catch-22 here. We do want the economy to increase, but we're also at the same time, experiencing and seeing, deaths, right? But I think, folks, the general climate of a lot of people, just regular people and government, just like, listen, we're in a new era. We just got to deal with the deaths. And so Prime Minister Judith is also echoing a lot of those sentiments where, listen, he says we've been closed for 100 days now, 100 plus days now. And we, the economy, Haiti has to reopen. And so literally before even saying that statement, he changed the policy. What's going on? Okay. We have some internet issues today. IG. Okay. Yeah. Let me know on IG how I'm looking. Just had a little buffering on IG. Right. And so, literally earlier this week, we had a announcement, policy change, right? A big thing. A lot of people reached out to me has been, SeeJeanty, listen, I've heard, I got to bring my first child, a gold bar to the airport to prove the requirements are very onerous, right? To be a little less facetious. One of the crazy requirements before was I got to spend 2 weeks at either Servotal or Visa Lodge, at a hotel and be quarantined there. And you have to pay out your own pocket for 2 weeks, right? And these places are, listen, $100 to $120 a night, right? For 2 weeks. You do the math on that. That's a lot of money to re-enter your country, right? And so they've changed that now. And so all you need now to re-enter the country, and this is specifically for Haitian nationals, they haven't, but chances are this is going to be the same policy for everyone, though I'm hoping it will be a little even less stringent, even though this is a much more improved list of requirements to enter the country. But hear me out. So you're going to need a certificate of a negative test, right, for COVID-19. So you got to show a test that you're negative COVID-19. That's number one, right? And number two is you have to provide a proof of address, home address of where you're going to be self-quarantined for 14 days. So you got to provide an address to where you're going to be, and they're going to have an official or somebody, a representative, come to that address that you say you are and check on you, right? That's what they're saying. Are they really going to do it? That would be a pretty big shock to me for the Haitian government to actually follow up administratively on something like this. But they said they're going to do it. Let's take it for word value. They're going to do it, right? And so they're going to go and check on you. But here's the thing that's so far so good, right? But here's the thing that I'm kind of really, really very fatigued about, very unsure about, is that you have to give your passport, right? So right now, again, this is for the Haitian nationals. Haitian nationals. Remember, right now we're still officially closed, but this is a pathway for Haitian nationals to get back into the country, right? And you have to give your passport to some customs official, right? And that to me is a problem. I don't. Anyone who's ever had to deal with the Haitian government, the Haitian bureaucracy in any regard, the amount of trust and faith of their capacity to even scratch their nose, I question that. You tell them to scratch their nose, they end up scratching their ear, right? I don't have any faith in anything like they do. And so the fact that you're handling them and a critical piece of legal document as your passport, and that's for Haitian nationals. Again, still, I can't answer if you're a U.S. citizen, right, and you're flying in. Are you then supposed to give your U.S. passport to a Haitian government customs official? So again, officially, again, this isn't the policy for non-Haitian nationals, right? This is for Haitian nationals. This is the directions. If and when Prime Minister Judith and the Jovenel administration decide to open the airports up, then they are going to have to reissue, okay, what do non-Haitian nationals need to re-enter the country? And I'm hoping it's just the certificate that shows you're negative, COVID negative, and also proof of home address, right? And again, even that's ambiguous. What does proof of home address mean? How do I prove to you the address I'm at? You know what I mean? I don't, that's pretty ambiguous there from that perspective. But anyway, so we're moving in the direction, certainly though, the point of this news story update is that we're moving in the direction of the country reopening. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised, though officially, a lot of folks ask me, hey, when is the airports reopening? Officially, it's July. It's either July 20 or July 23. Somebody can correct me here, but it's either July 20, July 23. That's when the state of health emergency was expanded to. So officially, without any other update, the airports are set to reopen at the end of July. But I would not be surprised if we heard, next Sunday, I'm talking to you about, hey, airports are reopening, right? And of course, chances are, if the airports really do reopen, and the conditions for me to re-enter, or everyone to re-enter isn't crazy. Because again, I'm not sure I'm going to fly in Haiti, even though the airports are open. I'm not going to give a Haitian government customs official my passport. I'm sorry, there's no way. I'm not going to see that passport again. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest with you guys. You're not going to see that passport again. It's not going to happen. And so I'm not, even if the airports reopen, if that condition is still, hey, you have to give your passport to a Haitian government customs official, forget about it. I'm staying my butt here until the conditions change, right? And so that's the news story. We'll see. But again, if the conditions are right, it happens this week. Guess what? This background, you guys know my office. You guys know when I'm in Haiti, because this background is different. And so you'll see right as a start, my Haitian office background. And so we'll be back. But anyways, we'll see. Fingers crossed that now, but of course we do have to talk about the fact that, it's with mixed emotions with this reopening, because of course, as we know, yes, to get back to your country is important. But then again, when you know in America, America is the country with the most positive cases. We still don't know what it means to be healed, right? We still don't know, like, even after you're sick, we still really don't know how, if you can still spread it, right? We still don't know that. A lot of things we don't know about this disease and how it works. And it's still, even with the COVID-19, it takes 2 weeks for your symptoms to come up. And so even with a negative case doesn't mean in 10 days you won't be sick. And so already Haiti's suffering tremendously with the COVID positive cases. And then once you allow people to fly back in, it's with mixed emotions, because there's going to be a lot more deaths, right? And so it's a rock and hard place emotion for me, because I want to be back. I want the airports to open so I can get back. But at the same time, too, I know that Haiti does not have the infrastructure to support, the caseload of a proper spike, right? So we'll see. We'll see how things are. We're in a new era. We're in a new age. A new normal, and COVID deaths in mass is something it feels like we're gonna have to get used to, and not just in Haiti, but in America, across the world. People dying of COVID. It's just something we're gonna have to get used to. It feels hard to say that, but I think that's what the general mood is for a lot of people in the population. That's certainly the general mood for the governments, because the governments can't support the economy. I mean, a person can argue that a lot of the very big protests that we've been seeing in the U.S., of course, Black Lives Matter and the deaths, and the very gruesome death of George Floyd, the execution, the public lynching, right? To put a foot on somebody's neck. It's just, for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I mean, it is infuriating. And so certainly that's a big reason why folks are out, just absolute fatigue. But certainly one thing that has, my perspective, I'm going to take it for what it's worth, that's really added to the fuel to really light this up has been, in my opinion, two things. First off, you have 20% unemployment. So in other words, you have a lot of people sitting at home, not doing nothing. We in Haiti know about that. When you have a lot of people unemployed, not doing nothing, that's a big reason of, when things blow up in Haiti, they blow up, right? Now that's number one. And number two, there is a restless energy, right? There's no football, there's no basketball, there's no soccer, there's no place for folks to usually distract themselves from their emotions and from their feelings, right? So maybe for the first time, you have people who aren't busy with work, who aren't busy with sports, and they are really emotionally taking in, what has always been just an absolute gruesome, heinous, inhumane thing of having, a police state in the U.S. that just basically can freely do whatever they want, kill you, whatever, and have no consequences, right? And so I think a lot of folks are finally coming to terms with that, and that's why, going back to my original point, it's governments want things to get back to normal, right? They want folks to be back to work. They want sports to be back. They want to be free of these. They want to have distractions so people can forget about the systematic problems that exist in their societies, right? And so, I'm tongue in cheek with it. Of course, I'm tongue in cheek with it, but honestly, you guys know there's a big bit of truth of what I'm saying here. You know what I mean? I'm not too off base here, right? I'm not being a conspiracy theorist here, right? I'm in the lane of rationality, right? So yeah. In any case, so the airports, I really suspect, if I'm a betting man, I really do think the airports may be open within this week, and really feel that maybe they may reopen by the end of next week. If not this week, but in 2 weeks for sure. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on it. And of course, when things change, we will update you, right? So let's take a look at the chats. What are people saying? What people are asking here in the chats? We have Daniel Dodard. He's asking, do I know when Decameroon is opening up? So officially, when Decameroon closed, they said that they were going to be closed for 2 months, right? And so that was what? That was, March, right? So March. I would think they should be reopening in July. I would think, right? So 1st of July is given what they provided, but I haven't heard anything from Decameroon specifically. I can tell you, Decameroon is pretty good in terms of responding to their social media. So if you're Daniel, if you're looking to book a stay at Decameroon, just go to their IG, send them a DM. They're actually really good in responding to them, to inquiries. So feel free and shoot them a message and find out. But I haven't heard specifically they're reopening. But the last thing I heard was they're going to be taking a 2-month hiatus, and they should be reopening about now. Like either, I would say at the latest, July 1st, I would think they should be open, right? So we'll see. And a lot of folks who work there, the tourism industry as a whole has taken an incredible hit, right? And so certainly hoping they can reopen. We got Keith Martin. Good to see. Hey, Keith again. Keith saying there are a few Haitians and Americans who recently flew on a private jet. I believe that was last week. I'm told they all had to hand in their passports and self-quarantine. Okay, interesting. I mean, that right there caused quite a bit of controversy. Right? We had a lot of folks, who were like, "Who are these?" And on top of that, they were missionaries, right? From my understanding, like a few of them, a good amount of them, the majority of those on that private were missionaries. And so, a lot of people were like, there's Haitian nationals who can't come in. And this is before the policy change right now, by the way, who can't come into their country, who are away from their kids and their families and their businesses and their jobs, and can't come in. But yet, the Haitian government's allowing these guys with private jets to fly in and stay. I think there's a lot of a controversy there. But good to know that. But actually, on top of that too, I don't know. I've heard reports keep that these same people were seen, at child, child orphanages and around people, right? So again, he says he said, I'm not, that's why I didn't report on it, because I couldn't verify or validate, and plus it wasn't really Haiti Biz News related, but certainly infuriating. And I was aware of that story, and I've heard some details relevant to it. I'm not sure what's true, what's not. for what I've heard. But either way, I gotta admit, I took offense to that happening, because honestly, if a government that's really working should have told these guys, okay, cool, fuel up and go back. It's like, if you guys remember at the very beginning of the COVID crisis in Haiti in particular, remember, if you guys remember, there was a Chinese private jet that was supposed to fly to Bahamas, but then Bahamas like, no. and then they try to get in DR, but DR is like, no. So finally, they just forced the landing at Port-au-Prince airport. But even the Haitian government was like, wait a minute, who, what? No. And they didn't allow anybody off the airplane. So they spent like a full day on the airplane, on the tarmac, and then, fueled them up, gave them food from a distance, like, hey man, here's some food, and then they flew back to Portugal, if you guys remember. And so, to me, in my opinion, that's what we should have done here as well. We said, yeah, who are you? No, we're not open right now. Get back, stay in your plane and go back. That's how that should have went from my honest perspective, Keith. But in any case, Ernest, good to see you, Ernest. Happy to have you, man. Damini Samba, always good to see my man Damani Samba, my Congolese counterpart, who always adding value and improving my knowledge of Congo and also Haiti. Damani is very knowledgeable on Haiti affairs, and learned a few things from Damani. Damani, of course, he has a Facebook page called Congolese Cognizant, right? So feel free, Damani, always you're welcome to drop the page. Get some folks out there, because anyone who's on the shared mission of ultimately what is Black empowerment, right? And improving their home communities, and improving the conditions for millions of people, changing perspectives. I'm here to support that. So, and good to see you, Damani. Good morning to you, brother. Gary Tech says is also the difference in treatment between white protesters and Black people minding their business that made people mad. Okay, all right. I think Gary was talking about I was talking about the general conditions of what I thought is causing these large protests. Thanks for that contribution there, Gary. Lucien Coleman says, what's the status of DHL deliveries? They're still delivering, man. They're still delivering. In fact, I just a few weeks ago, at the very, when things were announced and shut down, I had something, because being in America, I had something really important that I needed to get to me. And so I had, my office manager ship it, through DHL to my address here in America. And so I know for sure DHL is functioning, right? At least out the country. I'm pretty sure you can ship things in the country too. So DHL is still functioning. The only thing I can't enter the country is people, right? But just so you know, even when this was announced, things can move across the border. Shipments or imports are still coming in, gasoline still coming in, for example. It's just people can't, cross borders because people have COVID, right? So thanks for that question, Lucien. Keith follows up. Saw photos that they published. Yeah, so Keith, you saw it. You saw that they were around people, right? And so much for 14-day quarantine, right? So much for that. Judy Ducatel, bonjour. Good to see you. I'm doing great, Judy. Happy to have you in the chat this morning. Thanks. All right, so let's keep it moving. Next story has to do with the national budget figures, right? I am in my element. I'm in my element, guys. You hear me? So before I go too deep on this, I'm going to reboot the IG, because we're pushing about 50 minutes, and I don't want to stop in between of me dissecting what I wish I could be dissecting every week, real numbers to reboot the Instagram. So I'm gonna go ahead and reboot the Instagram right now, guys. You are watching Instagram, you go ahead and re-enter, of course, for an uninterrupted session. We're on Facebook, SeeJeanty, and we're on YouTube, SeeJeanty. So you guys are always welcome to check it out there. But let me go ahead and reboot the IG, because we're gonna come up the time frame here, which is the time max of 1 hour, which is very annoying. I think the blue check people get special privileges. They can go on indefinitely, these guys. Unfortunately, we're not at that level just yet, right? Okay, so boom, we've reset ourselves here on IG. Let's go ahead, it's posting. And then, okay, there we go. And we're gonna go ahead now and reinitiate the live, right? Let's try a little something. Oh, I'm not gonna do that. This is something a little different. I want to make sure one of those special effect filters. Let me toss a filter on here. Why not? Why not? Okay, and then we're going to drop the title in there. We're going to drop the title in there, and we are going live. Boom, we are live. Okay, great. Now, next news story: national budget. Let's talk about it. All right, let's talk about it. So the Minister of Finance, Economics and Finance, right? Actually, before I even get to that piece, right? In fact, let me move that order of stories I was going to present. The national budget was published, right, by the board, the ministry, right? Because the way it should have been published should have been through the parliament. It should have voted, ratified it, right? The executive branch proposes, parliament's supposed to debate, say no, you need to increase this, you need to increase that, go back to the executive branch will modify it and bring it back, vote it in, right? And that's the national budget. But that sounds like a functioning government. That sounds like a bunch of competent adults who are able to understand what democracy is and have and put their country first and actually do their jobs that they've been voted to and get paid a lot of money. By the way, the parliament in Haiti, the highest paid parliament in all the Caribbean. Believe it or not, these guys who spend most of their time infighting and not passing bills, not passing laws, they're the highest paid in all the Caribbean. Okay, so very, very, you guys need to. I always have to reiterate this. Okay, very important. And because that sounds like something that we haven't seen in Haiti ever. So, but of course, that little fiasco did not happen because of why? Because there is no parliament. There has been no elections. Around the time of elections, opposition was feverishly, getting protesters out in the streets to usurp and get out Jovenel Moise, right? So Jovenel Moise survived specifically because the international community said, yeah, you guys aren't, he's staying, period. And that's why he's still here. And so I'm just gonna give you guys everyone context. Context is important. A lot of folks don't really follow, the back and forth. So I want to give folks context before getting into why things are done certain ways, right? And so without no parliament, because elections can never be held, basically King Moise, and I call this, those who follow the page long enough know I call President Jovenel Moise King Moise because he's able to rule by decree. Whatever he wants to do, he just signs a little piece of paper, publishes it on Le Moniteur, and it's law. It has the weight, full effect of law in the country, right? And so without parliament, the budget is passed, point blank, without debate. And so that's what happened. That's where we are. And by the way, guys, before I get into the figures, here's what I want to do. I'm going to drop the link, the PDF link to the budget. As I said, this is really important. It's really important that on your own time, it's in French, by the way, en français. Believe me, if a forward-thinking, truly transparent government would translate everything they do in 3 languages. Haitian Creole, first and foremost, Haitian Creole. That's what all Haitians speak in Haiti and outside of Haiti. Haitian Creole should be the #1 language of governance, period, right? Because everyone speaks it, right? That is the one connection that all Haitians have. So Haitian Creole, #1. French Creole as a vestige, because, momentum, I guess. And of course, English should be also, if we're seriously wanting to engage ourselves in the international business progression and community, English needs to be a very important part of how we communicate and move forward. But in any case, this isn't only in French, but still, it's pretty handy, especially if you go to page. If you guys open that up, by the way, you go to page 13. Okay, page 13. Well, actually, it starts even before then. Page 12 on the PDF. You can get a very nice, handy breakdown of the percentages that each ministry minister, is getting, basically the departments, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Health, Ministry of, the Judiciary, all these different elements, environment, Ministry of Agriculture, and these ultimately are the vehicles of which, payments occur, investment occurs, operation occur, and you can see the budget percentages very clearly. They give it to you, right? And so don't take my word for it. I'm all about transparency here. You gotta, please take some time, review the budget so you can understand really at the end of the day what we're going to talk about, which is the priorities of the Haitian state, the priorities of the Haitian government, right? And so much of what they say they're trying to do and the reality of what they're really spending their money on, right? And of course, as always with everything Haitian government, you got to take a grain of salt, what you're seeing here, because, so much money goes to the side, so much money goes to the right, so much money goes under the table, so much money goes over the top, right? So much money goes behind the back, right? So, these figures, you take them at face value. You kind of say, oh, okay, all right, a good percentage isn't going to go where it's saying it's going. So let's, get fair and balanced here. Let's be honest. Oh no, we're not children, right? We can have honest conversation. We can have honest conversation, I think, right, guys? Right? Let's be honest. But in any case, let's just review what's here and for what it is, and we'll have a conversation on what is here. Okay, and it's interesting, right? We're seeing some things. For example, when we look nominally, we're looking just nominally on the budget, we're seeing a 36% increase versus last year, this year, right? But right, we got to be careful when we say that, right? Because remember, the good last year was somewhere around 80 or upper 80s. Right now, we're sitting at 107, right? Like literally in real terms, when you divide the good, when you look at the total budget and you divide it by the exchange rate to get it in dollars. Last year, it was at $2.2 billion. This year, it's at $1.7 billion, right? So it's actually decreased by a lot of money, right? But the nominal amount, because when something depreciates vis-a-vis, especially another currency like the dollar, you have to put more to kind of make up that difference, right? Even though the value of that currency is less, right? And so that's really that's really what I want to focus on, to be quite honest with you. But even as we review a lot of these figures, right? And when I tell you, hey, something's increased 15% or something's increased or decreased 20%, honestly, understand that really we're looking at it as a fraction ratio of what things increase versus what have things decreased by, right? Because we know the reality is everything has decreased. That's the thing, because think about it. The budget, right? The budget was 2.2, now it's 1.7. So everything is actually increased. But when I say something's increased, it's increased relative to the decreases of others. All right. So let's be clear and talk about that, right? Because again, when we're comparing year over year, it's not, the figures that are presented aren't really factoring the depreciation. So let's be clear, right? But let's get to it. So first and foremost, now this has no complexity of the currency, right? 15% is going to be financed by the central bank. That's important, right? 15% is going to be financed by the central bank. And when we say financed by the central bank, we really mean two things. We mean, first and foremost, that they're going to be printing out treasury notes, right? Treasury notes to which people could buy. Folks actually had some sort of confidence in what the Haitian government is doing. They could buy it. This is like here in America, you can buy treasury notes and put your money in for a yield at the end at maturity. We all should know this. I hope this isn't news to people. If not, that's a problem, right? But in any case, but the other large percentage of how this budget is going to be funded is by straight up the Central Bank of Haiti is going to lend the government money, which they're going to have to service, right? Which they're going to have to service, right? Let me kind of change the order in my notes here just a little bit, right? And so just to kind of drive at home what that means, right? Debt servicing has gone up considerably over the past year. Some estimates have had it increase somewhere about 40-ish%. But in total, the debt servicing right now is the budget. 10% of the budget is going towards the debt servicing. What is debt servicing? Literally, the debt that when the central bank has to lend the Haitian government money, right? They have to pay the central bank back with interest, right? So about 55% or so is going towards the central bank. And the government does this, of course, by tax, tax dollars, et cetera, right? And then the other half is going to external debt, right? Remember, we owe a lot of money to Petrocaribe, like a lot of money to Petrocaribe, right? That wasn't free money. That's why this next side will méchant bill, right? Because they took money. If it was free money, we could say, that's messed up, right? But the fact that it's money that not only was misappropriated and just disappeared and went to people's pockets, but the U.S. is on the hook. The Haiti is on the hook for a long time. Something is doubly criminal about that, right? But in any case, let's keep moving through the budget line items here, right? So that's the debt servicing. We're going to come back to that because that's really important, but let's keep moving. So a big point of contention as well has been the fact that the judiciary has seen a decrease in their budget. In fact, the judiciary has seen only 0.8%. I'm going to say 0.8% of the budget allocated to them. They're mad. And by the way, Parliament isn't much better. Parliament is seeing 2.1% of the budget allocated to it working. But let's say these deputies and senators, they don't do anything anyway. So I'm a-okay with 2.1%. I'd be happy with 0. But let me stop being facetious and cynical here, right? But specifically, the judiciary currently is on strike because of their frustration. They're on strike because of the fact that they've been promised a lot of things. A lot of these guys haven't seen increases in salary in years. They're in dilapidated buildings and aren't functioning, right? And aren't supported, right? And they were promised. Last time they went on strike about 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, they were promised certain things from the executive branch particularly, and they weren't provided that. And then the budget was proof of that. So that right now, as we talk today, there is no judges working, right? From the case, from the judiciary of first instance to the appellate court to the Supreme Court, no judges are functioning in the country. Right? So that's where we're at. That's one of the aftermaths of this budget being published, right? Importantly to know, it's 8.56% have been budgeted for COVID, but something you got to pay attention here. Would you actually go to the budget of the MSPP, the Minister of Santé Publique, so they have about 10% of the budget was allocated to them. But at that 10% budget, almost 9%, so 8.5% of the budget of the Minister of Santé Publique is a part of that. As a part of the COVID response. So it makes me think, what about the rest of the infrastructure needed, right, to help a proper running health institution, health body, health department, right? When you have almost the entirety of that budget being counted towards that response, right? Just something to think about, right? And something to note. Education, we always got to talk about that, because one of the sticklers, even in normal times, something that's very problematic for Haiti. The fact that we have 9.4% going towards the education or educating the next generation. The most important investment we can do, honestly, it's we got a lot of important investments to do, roads to infrastructure to a bunch of different things, but the people is as critical. And the fact that you're only putting 9.4% towards the youth and the capacity and the skill set of Haitians, it's a problem, right? And to understand why it's the gap here, experts say education should be 20% of any serious government's budget, right? 20% of your budget should be going. In Dominican Republic, because folks hate bringing them up. I was talking about Dominican Republic, man. Focus on Haiti. All right, cool. This is really quick. I'm just mentioning this real quick. They're at 20%. Okay, Rwanda, another one. We love the site Rwanda. A lot of respect for Rwanda. They're at 20%, right? And in fact, Haiti has one of the lowest as a percentage investments in education in the entire Caribbean region, right? Even Nicaragua and Honduras, they're at 10, 13, 15%, right, towards budgeting for education, right? Problem, and it's a problem, all right? Very much a problem, right? Right. So let's see what else. Oh, my notes are all over the place here. Let's fix that, right? And of course, other important line items we got to pay attention to here. For example, the fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is 12% of the budget, right? A big item that's talked about a lot is how much the state is using spending to subsidize. Actually, that's one thing Haiti has that isn't, actually a good metric. If you quote unquote, Haiti has some of the cheapest gas prices in the entire Caribbean, and 12% of the budget is going to help sustain that. So FYI. But another thing we got to talk about here when we look at the budget is the fact that public intervention, i.e., the government's action in certain aspects of the economy and infrastructure, right? For example, when we look at the Ministry of Agriculture, right, comparing this year to last year, they're down 24.7%. Now, we've talked about, and in fact, we're going to talk about too, the big, quote unquote, big investments that have been done in the agricultural sector in Haiti over the past few months because of COVID and the doubling down of, well, we kind of really need to stop importing so much, and we really should be making our own food. Oh, big surprise. Oh my God, this is a wow, new idea, right? Something we've been saying since the very inception of Haiti, right? They've decreased that budget for the Ministry of Agriculture by 24.7%, right? So on one moment, again, remember, this is King Moise now, right? King Moise, who ran on a platform of Banan and being the guy of agriculture. He did that whole show of the Carnival des Changements, right? Going through the rural areas, investing, fixing up, canals and farmland. And Nek Banan, he promised every Haitian Banan on their plate, right? Banan on their plate, right? He was going to be the agricultural guy to finally take Haiti, the agricultural sector serious. 24.7% decrease in the Minister of Agriculture's budget, right? How can you seriously say you have the priority of the country high in order, you're actually acting in the best interest if we already talked about how your education is not where it needs to be, but then you're not investing in agriculture like you said you would. You're actually decreased it by 24.7%. Fatigant, right? Let's keep going, right? Other things that are very important here, when it comes to anti-corruption, right? When you look at, don't, as an expression that says, don't listen to what people say. Listen to what they do. Okay? It's very important. Don't listen to what they say. Listen to what they do, right? And the national budget is the biggest indicator of what a government is doing, right? An administration, right? And when people say, they call King Moise a monte and a liar, you know, I sit impartial, I listen to it, and then I see things like this where, you know, he goes on and says one thing, but then the budget, which is the action plan, says something else. You know, so then when people call somebody a monteur and a liar, right? Because what's the definition of that? You say something, but you do something else, right? Let's keep looking. We're not done just yet. Corruption. I'm gonna be attacking corruption. Corruption's a problem in Haiti. We're gonna do our best to attack corruption. But then when you look at the national budget, you know, there's a couple of different bodies that are supposed to help with anti-corruption. First is the General Inspection of Finance. Right, this is those goes to go into the bureaus and see, you know, audit. Right, the National Public Procurement, another one. Right, and of course, as you know, the Minister of Justice, the Judiciary, as we just mentioned, very piecemeal amount of money to operate. And a part of Minister of the Judiciary, of course, is the Anti-Corruption Bureau. They're a part of that, right? And they also, all these have seen decreases this year. Decreases. Okay? Decreases. Right? So how can you, again, say you're attacking corruption, saying that, going on TV and literally treating people like idiots by saying something, but then doing something else because your budget says something different, right? Again, we understand. Again, we understand that all budgets, the entire budget has gone down. We get it. But as a percentage of what remains, that percent went down. That part of the pie went down. Come on. On nous sérieux. On ne peut pas passer mon bêtise. Huh? Come on. What's going on? Right? And those are the last piece of the budget that's important to talk about, of course, is the baseline, right? The baseline, of course, is, you know, dire, right? Where they've assumed within the part of the budget that Haiti is going to see a negative 3.6% GDP growth rate. Negative 3.6% GDP growth rate, right? That's incredible. That's incredible, right? Negative 3.6 in a country where even when we're getting 1%, 2%, it wasn't enough to keep up with the population growth rate, right? And in fact, even when we saw 1%, we were still shrinking in real terms. But the fact that we're seeing negative 3.6%, that's incredible, right? And this is before, you know, pay your luck, of course, to guarantee that we're going to be negative this coming year, right? But of course, COVID has put that hammer in the coffin and buried us 8 foot deep. Dirt is on it. It's dead, sealed, done. We are going to be negative, right? But negative 3.6% is what the underlying assumption is of this entire GDP national budget, right? In so much, right, now that we're 6 months in, we've only collected 50% of what the budget said we should have collected by this time. I'm going to say it again. Everything I just said, I just spent a good chunk of time talking to you about these different aspects of the budget. And of course, lots more aspects. I welcome you guys to go ahead and take a look at that budget on your own time. Please, I'm going to drop it one more time. It's really important. I really want, you know, Mary, what are we about here? We're about the return on information. I want you guys to come to this stream and leave it more educated about what's going on in Haiti from a truly rational, logical, intellectual perspective, and not that emotional shit that you get everywhere else, right? Everywhere else, this is emotional, you know, just crap, right? So I'm going to drop it one more time. I want you guys some time, you know, page 12 and page 13 and page 14 in that PDF. That's really all you know, if you understand French, great, go into more details, but everyone can understand page 12, 13, and 14 of the PDF. It's just numbers, and you can see the ministries, you know, there, and you can see the percentages, right? And you can make the determination yourself. Is it appropriate? Is it appropriate that education has only 9.4%? Is it appropriate that Ministry of Public has only also 9%, right? Is it appropriate, right? Is it appropriate? That's it. Is it appropriate, right? And so, but the point is that right now, they've only collected 45% of what they said they would have collected. So what that really means, and I want folks to understand, is we're running a deficit, an incredibly massive deficit is what the Haitian government's running. And you know how we're going to make up that gap, right? In so facto, printing money, right? Not literally printing money, not literally going to the print press and printing money. But when you have to, just understand something. Whenever you have to go to your central bank, right, and you have a budget and you need to pay those line items of that budget to operate your government, and you have to go to your central bank and borrow money, it has the same effect. It is the same as printing money, right? It's not literally more money in circulation, but it literally has the same economic effect as printing money, both into the real economy and, most importantly, your currency valuation, right? And so when you right now we're sitting at 107. I haven't talked about it. It hasn't been a news story, but we're sitting at 107 good for a dollar right now. Okay, 107 good for a dollar. It's important. You guys have to understand that, right? And it's only gonna get worse because we're running a deficit right now. We're running a massive deficit. It's only gonna get worse. I would not be surprised if at the end of the year we're somewhere around 120 to 130 good per dollar. Mark my words. You heard it here first on SeeJeanty, on Haiti Biz News. We're gonna be at $140. Did I say 140? Let's just say it. We're gonna be at 140 good per dollar. Heard it here first. I'm not exaggerating. I really believe that. Before the end of the year, December will tick over, and I truly do feel we'll be at 140 good for a dollar, which is insane. Because just last year we were at 80 or 90. Just when I first moved to Haiti, about 4 years ago, we're at 60, and now we're looking to be double that for sure and more. That's not good. That's not good for real wages. That's not good for the economy, for people. We're looking at a barrel of famine right now in Haiti, like famine, right? And a big part of it is not only we're not producing enough food, but people simply can't afford it. They can't afford it because when you're importing that much food and your currency is going down that much, people need to make more money to purchase the same thing. And how are they gonna make more money, right? How are they gonna make more money, right? Especially with COVID. Deep breath. That's the budget. That's the news story. I do welcome you guys to do go ahead and check out. I gave it to you twice. Do check it out. So let's scroll up. Let's see what folks are saying in the chat. We got Reginald Bajon. Good to see you, my dear. Always pleasure to have you in the chat. Regina, excuse me. Regina. That's a Reginald. Regina, doing some incredible work out in the Quadruple area. Runs a factory that's providing jobs, employment, impact, and most importantly, the factory the product she's creating in this factory is hand sanitizer. She has two brands, Dr. King and Sanpur. Dr. King can be found in Haiti, and Sanpur can actually be found in America. And of course, I hope, Regina, one of these days get that website up so I can direct people towards that website so that you can get some more orders. There's some really, really impactful stuff out there. And again, hand sanitation, right? Gel and stuff like that. Very, very, and using a lot of it's locally produced, by the way. It's FYI. A lot of it's using, because the same, rum, right? Haitian rum uses sugarcane. And so she's taking that same process and same alcohol, right? And then, but using it for hand sanitizer, right? So a lot of it is, Haitian, Haitian made, right? A big percentage of that product is made in Haiti, even the ingredients is made in Haiti. So always will give that shout out when I see Regina in the chat. Good to see you. Regina says specifically, les parlements haïtiens et les nids des bandits. Excuse the little American accent in that French, but they're, in short, she says they're bandits. And we know. We unfortunately know. And Regina follows up and says, oops, what am I doing? What's going on here? Okay, it says, to note, Privat and Matali had done the exact same thing, right? which was, by the way, I guess Regina saying one thing and doing the other. I think she was responding to there. Lucien follows up, says, appreciate me sharing the link. All right. Daniel Dodard says, do an episode on treasury notes. Who really wants to watch that? so, I'll be honest with you, man. Nobody really wants to watch that. Nobody, that's the problem. We're not really necessarily a financial channel here, right? And so I don't think folks will really want to watch that. I'll be honest with you. And there's a lot of people who do a lot better than me. In fact, I posted something on SeeJeanty Facebook page where Ayibobo did something. Heck, man, it was like last year or something like that, on a very nice visually graphic explanation of the deflation and what's causing it for the good. And this was back when I think the good was like $70. 70 good per dollar or something. I did a pretty good job though, and so it's on my Facebook page right now if you guys want to take a look at it. So something, if I could do something like that to keep people's attention, but just me talking like I usually do, no one's gonna watch that. I wouldn't watch it. I'll be honest with you. Judy Ducatal follows up, says, Haiti has so much potential, especially areas of agriculture and tourism. Certainly agree. Totally agree with you. Gary Text responded to Daniel. All right. Judy follows up. The judiciary needs proper funding. Absolutely. How can you become a country of laws or purport to be moving that direction if you don't provide the judiciary proper funding? Right. Right. Follows up. Lucien says, I understand some of the prison conditions are inhumane and the population is backed up with cases of people with no solid charges. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've talked about that a few times. The prison system, it's incredible. Over 70% of the people in prison in Haiti right now have been in prison for over 3 years and have never seen their day in court. These are people who have not been charged. Oh, sorry, they've been charged, but they have not done. There is no dual process, right? That's the term. There has not been dual process, and that is insane. That is insane to wrap your mind around, right? 70% of people in prison right now in Haiti have been in prison for 3 years and have not seen their day in court. All right. And we talked about this previously because, there's been a massive flare up of COVID in these very cramped, literally these prison cells have been made for maybe 2 or 3 people. And you can have as much as 20, 30 people in a single cell. You don't treat animals this way, right? If there was images of dogs and cats in these sort of conditions, the people, you already know what type of people I want to say, but people across the world would have been sending their military to take these dogs and cats out of these cages, right? But because they're Black and Haitian, oh wow, that's tough. Ooh, hope something gets done about that. Anyways, and the topic changed. But anyways, I don't get too emotional here. But Lucien, I've talked about it. It's very frustrating, and probably one of the most frustrating things about Haiti is how they're treating. I mean, we are, in America, Black Lives Matter, and we're, fighting police brutality, and rightly so. But yet in Haiti right now, we have 70% of these prisoners sitting in jail for over 3 years in inhumane conditions, dying of COVID. Okay. But nothing's being done. Nothing. Incredible. Judy follows up, says, yes, they are. There is much work to be done. Hope one day to impact and be in Haiti. Yeah, certainly we hope so too. And you can provide jobs and influence and help change the decrepit state of the state, right? Judy follows up, says, yes, we need to stop importing. Sorry. When I lived in Haiti in the 80s, it was very different. Very little was imported. I certainly agree. I can only hope one day we move to a direction where things we can produce in the country is taxed and things we can't produce are not, right? For example, cars, technology, laptops, all that should be 2%. Yeah, you can't put that anything. You can't let it be free, but 2%, 1% tax on those things. But food, rice, things that we should be making in the country, they should be taxed at what they used to be taxed. Because under Duvalier, one thing I'll give him much, but I'll give him one thing. Under him, under the Duvalier regime, rice was taxed at 150%. 150%. We need to go back to that. That needs to go. That needs to get back, right? But at the same time, we need to aggressively invest in agricultural capacity, because at the same time, there's going to be a window where there's going to be less food in the market, right? If you think about it, right? Because if you say, hey, no imports, your economy is based on imports, then to make up the gap, you need to make sure that your domestic industry can make up the gap. Otherwise, there's going to be famine, there's going to be hunger. So that needs to happen. At the same time, there is massive investment, right? And it's not going to happen when 24.7% Ministry of Agriculture has seen a decrease. So we're not there. Just talked about, we're not there, right? Johnny Sellerson follows up because encouragement to keep up the good work. Thank you, man. You too. Keep up the good work. Johnny Sellerson, by the way, has a show he does every Sunday with Mona Lisa Ferra called the Mojo Show. And that show, again, live. And what that show is focused on Haitian diaspora issues, right? So where this show is more about Haiti, in Haiti, his Le Mojo Show is about things going on of the Haitian community everywhere, right? In America in particular, right? And so usually when I'm done with this show, I'm usually watching his show because his show is almost right after mine. So feel free, make sure follow. Just go Le Mojo Show. Let me type it in for you guys. Le Mojo Show. I think if you do a search on that, I think they have a page and everything. You'll be able to find it. So you keep it up too, Johnny. Keep it up. What you're doing is important. Gary Tech follows up. Kind of a changement. Following up. Judy Ducatal says, this is horrible. They should have put an increase in the budget for agriculture, especially now with the famine happening in the country, right? But yet they're decreasing. Okay. All right. Lucien Coleman says, I keep reading that the land was destroyed by planting the same crop. It's a lot of different things, Lucien. It's a lot of different things that have contributed to the fact that the yield is nowhere what it used to be, and it's decreased over the years. Certainly practices, for example, planting the same crop and not doing rotations, not properly fertilizing the land. There's certain things that have not been done that has contributed. But I can tell you, all that can be overcome, right? Okay, cool. You drop some fertilizer. For example, I have an associate of mine who runs a farm, and he's told me it took him about 2 to 3 years to kind of get his farmland's soil to be right. But he got it right? And so that's something that can change, right? But what can't be overcome by an individual farmer is when listen, appreciate this, Lucien, appreciate this. Haitian domestic rice that comes out of Haiti has a 10% tax on it. Imported rice has 0. I'm gonna say that again. Right now, the condition of the country right now, domestic rice has a 10% tax on it. Imported rice has 0. Let that sink in, right? How can you compete against something already? You have something coming in, because American rice, as you know, is extremely subsidized by the American government. The American government is subsidizing its industry. So already it's cheaper, right? But then it comes in with no tax. Right now, 0% tax. While domestic rice has a 10% VAT on it. When it has to be sold, there's a 10% VAT applied to it. Right? So it's more than that, right? It's deeper than that. It's the government policy that is purposely inhibiting domestic agriculture from happening, right? A farmer cannot compete. And that's why we don't compete, and that's why we don't produce enough food, period. Point blank. Right? In addition to everything else, in terms of investment, canals aren't being done, irrigation, training, it's a bunch of different things. But the number one thing, the market could self-correct itself if taxation policy would be improved and logical, and it's not. Okay, hope I answered your question, Lucien. Bus rider follows up. Politicians can be like that, sadly, sometimes. Judy follows up, says, most farmers need to be taught about crop rotation. Most trees need to be planted. Also, Haiti can produce most things like cashews, peanuts, jackfruit, palm, all that stuff. You're right. You're absolutely right, Judy. And that's what I just followed up, said, those things can be overcome, but tax policy can't, right? So Judy Lubin asks a great question. This is bleak. What comes next? And of course, as much as we try to be pretty positive here, and the goal here is to be extremely positive, but we're not naive here. That's one thing. I hope no one ever. That's how you rival my blood. That's how I know. First off, you probably won't rival my blood. You won't get my blood boiling, to be honest. Because chances are, if you're saying this, it's because you don't know the show. You don't know me. You don't know what SeeJeanty is about, right? Yeah, we provide a different perspective that is to drive engagement and perspective change, but we don't hide the issues. We understand what the issues are, and we have to understand the issues are so we can properly attack and move forward in a positive way, right? And so, to answer your question, James, this is bleak. What comes next? It's number one, us understanding what the issues are, understanding what the numbers are, right? I have to understand those very clearly. We can't hide from them. We can't run away from them. We got to present what they are, and once we know what these issues are, then individually we can act the right way. For example, one business that my very next venture. In fact, in COVID, even before, COVID really messed me up because I was supposed to fly my dad in, and because we have quite a bit of land in the Miaguan area, right? And so we're supposed to start looking at some stuff, starting doing some small investments, but particularly I'm looking to get a distribution company. That's my next big, not my next big. That's my thing I'm most passionate about right now. It's really getting into, the distribution of agricultural products. I want to be able to buy products in Haiti, sell them to the world. Right, starting in America, since I'm most familiar with the American market, right? But that's what I mean, right? Once you understand that the problem is what I just expressed, which is there's not enough investment in agriculture and there's not enough things happening in that space. Your response, as someone who's watching and really wants to impact the country, needs to be what? You need to see what you can do individually to help change and impact that portion of change while you wait for the government to get its head out of its ass, right? Excuse my French if there's any kids watching, right? So that's what comes next. What comes next is you understanding what the problems are, and you working on it, and are working with the group of people, Haitian, like-minded people. Everyone contributes something. One person contributes money, other person contributes time, other person contributes connections, and you impact in the way the country needs to be impacted, right? And then if enough of us can be successful, then we can finally put pressure on this joke of a government institutional body that's running the state of Haiti right now, and have them do finally the right thing. We have them do the right thing, right? So, James, I hope that answers your question. There's, in every bit of despair, the hope is clear. They're doing it wrong, and what can we do to impart a positive change in that specific area of things being done wrong? If agriculture is being done wrong, we're not investing in it. I mean, the government's not investing in it. We need to see what we can do to be a part of a positive change. For example, Ascania chocolates. Love Ascania chocolates. We had SeeJeanty. We had an episode. I had Karine Jassim. Loved it. One of my favorite people. Haitian diaspora, didn't have to come back. University of Michigan engineer, smart woman, didn't have to come back, but came back and did what? Her hometown is up in Wanamette, I think. Yeah, Wanamette. And started a business buying coca, transforming it to chocolate bars, and sending them and selling them across. In fact, in France, her biggest market is France. Like Haitian chocolate, oh my God, they freaking love. It's two places actually that like Haitian chocolate is like revered. France and Japan. I'm gonna say it again. Japan loves our chocolate, right? And of course, America, too, is pretty highly regarded. The consistency, the texture. Haitian chocolate is some of the best chocolate in the world. So guess what she did? She started a business just buying. It's not complicated, guys. It's not rocket science. You buy coca from the local, because there's a very large coca, associations and stuff in that part. She buys them, transforms them into chocolate bars. Okay. Then ships them to Haiti, ships them to America, ships them to the world, ships them out of Haiti to the world. It's not rocket science. I'm not asking you guys to build a rocket ship. I'm not telling you to understand Bitcoin. I'm not telling you to understand blockchain, right? It's simply you buy stuff, you do a little transformation, you package it, You send it out the country, and a little bit of marketing, right? A little bit of marketing, right? And you get it sold. It's not rocket science, right? It's not, you don't need a business degree. You need an MBA for that, right? Half you guys watching me right now can do something like that, right? I know a guy who makes honey in Haiti. You know, connect to this, to his there's other people who are doing it too. Buy some honey from him, package it, put it in a bottle, get out the country, a little bit of marketing, and you're selling it, right? And that's how you're making impact. That's how you're impacting and changing this conversation from a bleak conversation to one where we're impacting the sector that needs to be impacted. You're providing jobs and you're making a little bit of money. It's not charity. You're making money. You're making money. Everybody wins, all right? Thanks, James, for that comment. I appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Lucien follows up. Does each department, Providence State, has its own operating budget? You know what? Thank you, Lucien, for actually. I actually had a note on that, right? So yes, they do. You know, they do get from this national budget. Each department gets a portion of the get a amount associated for them, so they can, so that the municipality or the department can be run, right? Different projects are set based off of that budget. And by the way, something important folks have to understand, like, because most folks come from America, from America and Canada, where for example, say, you're in America, there's counties, right? Broward County, Miami-Dade County, right? And the income that comes from that county stays in that county. Same with the state of Florida, right? Or state of New York, whatever. There's an income that comes through and it stays there. It doesn't go through. But for Haiti, everything has to go through the national government. Everything comes from that. There's actually one thing I believe does directly go to municipalities directly, and that's a portion of the property tax stays with the municipality, right? But the thing is, that's very rarely paid. I think the overall payment rate for property tax in the country is like, somebody correct me, but like 2%. It's some stupidly low number, right? And so that's so good. It doesn't happen. Everything else comes from the state, right? And so Lucien reminded me, and I skipped over this in my notes, the debt servicing, right? The amount of money that we're paying for debt is more than all of the department payments that we've put aside. So in other words, we're paying more out in interest and loan distributions than what we're giving individual departments to use to develop themselves. That's a problem. Right? So thanks, Lucien, for allowing me to get back to it and stay and say what I just had forgotten to say there. Right? Regina follows up. Yep, Dr. King, Sam Purr, 100% made in Haiti. Okay, thanks for that correction, Regina. 100% made. Right? David Bassett says, would a social media campaign help raise awareness for the prisons? Absolutely, it would. But it's been done. It's been done. Like, if you literally type in Haitian prisons, like, there's a video right now sitting with millions of views of a professional journalist who went and is showing you the conditions of the country. And this is old, right? Nothing has changed, right? So it's been done, David. It's been done. But yet there has been no real initiative from the international community to have the Haitian government do what's right, right? Is another one in order? Perhaps. Right, Regina, showing that love for sure, no problem. Keep producing that product, right? David Bassett goes, Philly Dom's in here, of course. Philly's my dude, and Marie. Oh, but speaking of which, should I drop this nugget? Should I tell these guys? Why not? You guys been in your hour and 40 minutes. I'll tell you guys this nugget. A little pat on the back for sticking around this long. My next podcast episode, not this week, but next week, I actually have Marie on the podcast. And for those who don't know, Marie is a deportee. Is a deportee and back, but doing real impactful things using her YouTube and her understanding of American culture and American social media to drive conversation, and most importantly, driving funds towards building homes for some of the most privileged, unprivileged, lack of privileged, of Haitians. And so, Mary is we're going to have an episode dropping next week, not this week, next week on that. So I'm really, really excited. I've been watching a lot of her content too there, David. And so Mari's been someone who's been very open, and I can't wait to have. It's going to be a very raw conversation. I'm sure of it. So again, there you go. A little nugget, little preview of the next podcast. Not this one, but the next one. Okay. All right. So Regina follows up, says 8 million out of 11 million people are food insecure. Yep. Studies are done by NGO, and another one shows that Haiti rice, sugar, poultry production can be competitive with global production, right? It could be if certainly tax policies could be improved on, and certainly red rule investment. Regina follows up, says, I think what you do is important because it's bringing awareness. This awareness needs to also be shared with the general population. Haiti has 700,000 hectares of unused and underused land. I'm gonna pin that for a minute. That's important. Haiti has 700,000 hectares of unused and underused lands. That's incredible, right? I had someone. In fact, I posted something on my IG story. I'm not gonna call her out. She might be watching here actually, and I posted on my story. Still on my stories right now on Instagram about mangoes. How Haiti is at 15. We're ranked 15 out of the world, which is pretty darn good if you ask me. We're 15th out of the world of mango production, and I said, listen, we could easily get this up to number 4, number 3, easily, right? Because number 1 is like China, number 2 is India or something like that. These massive countries with lots of land, so we're not going to compete with them. But the ones below us is like Pakistan and these other countries that don't really have that much arable land, right? That we could easily compete. We could easily, if Haiti were to use, and that's why I said it. She messaged me saying, you're out your mind, SeeJeanty. You're crazy. There's no freaking way. I was like, I didn't even respond because you don't know what I know. And I know this, right? I know Haiti has so much unused land that's just sitting unproductive. Right? But okay. Guardians Pierre, what's up, man? Good to see you. Good morning. You're a little late, man. You're a little late. Gotta get here a little early so Gardens. Wife, mom, and nurse says the Cameroon told me July 1st. Yes, yeah, I had a suspicion it would have been July 1st. So thank you for that. Thanks for clarifying. The Cameroon, who asked earlier? Dodar, Daniel Dodar, that's your answer right there. July 1st is when the Cameroon's going to be reopening. Haiti has the best coffee. You're absolutely right. FC, good to see you, man. Happy to have you today. Thank you, Amar. Thank you, Humble. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Regina says, on the government side, the priorities need to be the modernization of the justice system, right? To include the cadraste. You have to tell me what that is. I don't even know what that is. And to protect encourage local investment, renegotiate the World Bank and the IMF, which allowed the reduction of taxes for imported products, which compete with Haiti products. You're right. It's the World Bank and the IMF that, in their good graces, have decided that we really need to keep taxes low on imports, which is insane, right? Which is why the IMF has such a terrible reputation, because the policies they've done have so drastically hurt domestic economies across the world, right? So I totally agree with you, Regina. Thanks for that. Judy follows up, says, I am right about sanitation, correct? Tori says, I am trying to bring a 3D printer in Haiti to upscale my business. I just don't have the connections yet, right? When it comes to importing is some of the most dicey things you can do in Haiti. You kind of want to do your research on import companies, see which ones can really provide real assurances when it relates to getting things out of customs, because the customs is the most dicey thing. At least the more you can not interface with customs yourself. There's 2 dens of corruption that exist in the country, and that's the DGE, the General Tax Office, and Customs. There is no larger, openly corrupt, openly, disgustingly in the public I mean, a lot of these government interaction points is like this, but the two that you just absolutely want to avoid as much as possible. You want to avoid the DG and you want to avoid Douane. Avoid them. So, Tori, find a company that can assure you that you will never have to take a step in the den of putrid corruption these things are. Again, I'm not being hyperbolic. I am generally telling you guys. I've experienced it. I have stories I can tell you that, like, you know, I'm not someone who people say this. Let me see for myself. I've seen for myself how bad they are. Okay, so Tori, just do your research. Be very careful. Find companies that can assure you will never have to take a step foot in there. You can use them to import your product. Okay. Yeah, David Bassett. Yeah, it's gonna be a great episode, David. It's gonna be a great episode. Otasa Joseph, first time I'm seeing you in the chat. Oritancia. Ooh, that's quite the name. good to have you. Lucian follows up, says, perhaps I missed it. Any percentage of the budget that goes into infrastructure development? Yeah, that's the Minister of Public Work. The Minister of Public Works, Transportation, and Communication. Though that's the budget that goes. And in fact, that percentage is 13%. 13% of the budget's going there. I don't know the percentage change between prior year. Unfortunately, don't know the percentage change between prior year. That's what really matters. You know, how much is increased or decreased. I suspect it's probably decreased. You know, if the trend of things that really should go up aren't going up. But that's your answer there, Lucian. Thanks for that question. Sabrina Samzi, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Humbled. Thank you. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. And Rosemary, thank you. I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking. Rosemary Pierre Lewis. Thanks for first time I see your name in here. Hope to see you again. We're here every Saturday, 11 a.m. Hope to see you again. I have a question on IG. Says, can we, the Haitian diaspora, do our own version of the Million Man March, organizing 1.5 million Haitians to going back to Haiti for 1 week? That's a great question. I would not console people to do that because you know, that's I haven't thought about that. Like, you know, a mass movement amongst the Haitian diaspora to really, you know, I think here's okay, great question. I haven't really thought about it, but here's where I kind of want to go towards with an answer. I want to go towards really what I know a lot of people, including myself, have been working very hard behind the scenes to help impact, which is voting, right? You know, one thing the Haitian diaspora need, just like the Dominican Republic, for example, the Dominican Republic, any Dominican anywhere of Dominican descent, they can vote. You can be in New York. In fact, they're so integrated with voting and their political system. They have a voting district for Dominicans outside the world, and they have a second one, especially for those in New York, because there's so many Dominicans in New York. So where you can actually vote while you're in the Dominican Republic, right? And so, and honestly, marching and activism, you know, if you guys have been here long enough, you know, I don't, you know, I have mixed feelings about that. They do some change, but not the long-term systematic change that's needed. But participating in democracy, participating in voting, knowing that politicians knowing that if they don't perform, they'll be voted out of office, right? That, right, and most importantly too, the fact that you can then impact them as well by engaging them not only but also financially, you know, supporting their campaigns or saying, hey, we're going to support someone else's campaign, but being fully integrated in the political apparatus is certainly something I don't talk about much, but certainly something I'm working behind the scenes to do, and part of some organizations that are working towards that effect. In fact, one of the organizations I'm a part of, United Front of the Haitian Diaspora, I've had the executive director on as well, and we've talked. You know, their group is one of the reasons why even today, they were marginally passed a law in 2012, or, you know, decreed a law in 2012 that allowed. There's a large coalition of Haitian diaspora, by the way, that formally recognize, hey, if you're of Haitian descent, if your mom's Haitian or dad Haitian, you're Haitian, right? And you have the full rights of a Haitian who never had dual citizenship, right? And so, and that was in big part of the coalition led by the United Front of the Haitian Diaspora, right? But the next step, we're about to end. It's really been an hour. We're about to end on IG. We'll try to reboot it up, right, when it ends on IG. So a big part of that has been, and what's up, Haitian Hillbilly? Before you go, we're gonna reboot it up, by the way. A big part of that is very much because to answer Caribe, even though we're about to end, Caribe, come back. I was answering IG, and IG's ending. So let me go ahead and reboot it up so I can get the person who was answering that question, get their answer back. IG is so annoying, man. This whole hour thing is brutal. Brutal. I don't know. I mean, I may stop doing IG. It's kind of it detracts from the overall flow of the show, if you ask me. You know, very annoying. But in any case, back on IG, and so to me, the where we need to be, honestly, is where we can vote and we can directly, as Haitian diaspora, because let's understand something. When 80% of your educated peoples, Haitians, are abroad, right? How you get an educated set of a government that finally behaves rationally, maturely, educatedly, is that a word? Whatever, is by getting a voter electorate who themselves are educated, right? That's number one, right? And number two, this shouldn't be blasphemy. This shouldn't be like such a big shock to people. Like, again, one reason why Israel is so incredibly vibrant and growing as a country is because they understood from day one the capital and the biggest thing they have as a country that is not resource rich, doesn't sit on oil, it's their people, right? And no matter where you are as a Jewish person, especially so many Jewish doctors and lawyers, commercial capitalists out there, is to get them back, get them engaged in the country, right? So if you're Jewish, no matter where as soon as you get off that plane, you have the full rights and citizenship, right? And on top of that, for a while, they would give you money. They would give you money to not only find housing, but also to start a business. For a long time, they were doing this, right? And I tell you, Haiti itself will be in a place where it can impact and do that same sort of change when we also fully say, it's not enough just to take your money, Haitian diaspora, through remittances. Not only do we want you to fully engage in the political process because we need your expertise and your capital and what you can offer, but we want to further support you. If you come back, we'll figure something out in terms of getting you housing real quick. We'll figure something out in terms of allowing you to speed through, get registering your business, because we need you. We need you, Haitian diaspora, to be back and rebuild the country, right? And so when that happens, my friends, I hope, God to ear, I hope I live long enough for that day. But when that day happens, believe me, people will look at Rwanda as a story of what it took Rwanda how long to develop itself. It only took Haiti half that. When that happens, believe me, right? Who brought up that question? Caribe, there you go. That's your answer, brother. I don't, the answer. I don't. We got to work in a different way. And in fact, I think we have to, really work for getting voting access, and then from there we can start impacting a lot more fluidly and directly the very big things that need to be done. Right. So thanks for that question, Caribe. I appreciate it. Regina follows up, says, how about the Haitian diaspora start fund where we can put together 1.5 million people to put $1.5 million a week to serve as investment in Haiti? I certainly agree with that. That certainly would be a very big and important part of impacting change in the country. I certainly agree with that 100%. That should be something that we should aim for. That's a fantastic idea, right? And it's a very small too. It's lots of people giving $1, very affordable. So certainly agree with that 100%. Amere Bell, I don't think marching works, but voting and suing these politicians, arresting corrupt ones, vote them out of office. That's in effect what my idea is about, right? Judy Ducatal, great idea. Sabrina Samzi, when that happens, yeah, I will be running to Haiti. All right, absolutely. So let's keep it moving. We're about 2 hours in. Love it, but let's hit these last news stories real hard, right? So an update on the rental decree, right? An update on the rental decree. If you remember, guys, last week we talked about that was the big news story of last Sunday, which was the fact that the leasing rules around renting property, renting from your home. You're like, say you're a landlord and you're renting to tenants. That was completely overhauled. I missed a very big piece of that new law as well, which is it wasn't just land, it wasn't just property rentals, but actually the rental decreed just renting in period. Like I was not aware of this. This is how, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't pretend to be a lawyer here, guys. So when it comes to law, don't come to me. Anybody who messes with me about legal, so I'm like, listen, I know some lawyers here. Reach out to them, right? But for sure, apparently the commercial law in Haiti, right, in terms of contracts, did not include rentals. What does that mean? Like, I think a lot of you guys stateside might be familiar with like Rent-A-Center, right? Where you can go to like these stores and anything. You can rent fridges and TVs and furniture, like, that sort of stuff. That up until this decree in May was not recognized legally, right? I mean, literally. So we had officially, what was recognized by the commercial law in Haiti: sales, loans, possession transfers, and recognizing income, right? Recognize income from these related. Simple rent, sale on credit, installment sales. Those were the sort of things that were recognized in Haiti, and very, very simplified terms, right? It's simplified. Like, for example, somebody lends you something, that was kind of recognized, but it was never really part of the tax code. You couldn't necessarily, deduct expenses, commercial expenses from rental activity, right? So in effect, not to get too deep into it, but it codified this decree codified a lot of the tax characteristics, right, of just either the sale, loan, possession, anything related to it. It actually provided actual guidance on how an accountant, and most importantly, the DGE, should recognize this activity, right? And that is actually just incredible. That is the fact that we didn't have, for, I think the last time this thing was updated was 20 years ago, right? Didn't have that, and that's the absolutely infuriating part about the Haitian government, particularly from the parliamentary level, right? Instead of doing their jobs, which is updating the legal lay of the land in the country so it's current for the real world, right? They spend their time trying to get the president out. It doesn't matter who the president is, or whatever you feel about Kimo. If it wasn't Kimo Ease, it would be the next guy, whoever is currently in office. That's all they do is spend their time and energy pushing a narrative that all the problems of the entire society is the one man's fault. Instead, not knowing, and I talked about this many times on Haiti Biz News, our constitution is very clear. We have a parliamentary constitution where 90% of all power lies in the parliament. And in fact, there's a reason why we have a prime minister, to take away even more power away from the executive branch, right? The prime minister runs the cabinet, right? All this we've talked about, all this, if you watched Haiti Biz News and SeeJeanty long enough, right? And so, in any case, love him or hate King Moise if you want. He's passed a very important piece of legislation that, again, I can't stop talking positively enough, because this is the work of government. The work of government is to keep laws current, and make the rule of law stronger, clearer. Because an entrepreneur coming into the country, you need clear laws to be able to know how to function. And then most importantly, when contracts are broken, you need to be able to go to court and get some rectification. So even though these laws are passed, right now, as you sit today, there's no courts functioning because the courts are on strike because of the low amount of money that the budget was set to allow them to function. So, you take the good and then recognize that it's a lot of bad to cut out of the apple, right? So that's that update. Next news story has to do with agriculture. Just a recap. We just want a quick recap of the fact that the FAO, which is a part of the UN, and the Minister of Agriculture have completed the first round of agriculture disbursements to vulnerable families. Remember, this is the in areas like Northeast, the Northwest, Nipes, Grandas. They are giving out 134 tons of cereal, rice, and maize. These are seeds, right? In addition to lima, some beans and groundnut and pigeon peas. All these are seeds directly to farmers, so farmers can plant. In addition, they're giving out 7.9 million, cuts of sweet potato and cassava, and that's how there's no seeds for these things. These are roots, right? So you give basically a piece of the root, and then the person puts it in the ground, and then it starts to grow and multiply. And so just an update on that, because we talked about that last month. And so the update is that they've completed the first round of disbursements, and more is supposed to happen. And it's very timely because, again, right now we're looking down the barrel of famine right now in Haiti. So it's very important that we can get that to the people, especially for this season of planting that's upcoming, right? But while that's happening, the cooperatives in Artibonite specifically, and this is really the breadbasket of Haiti. This is really the agricultural engine of the country. A lot of the cooperatives are saying bluffé. A lot of agricultural cooperatives are saying there was supposed to be like 14,000 seeds or something that was reported to have been dispersed. A lot of cooperatives are saying they haven't gotten it. A lot of cooperatives are saying, a lot of other work that was promised in terms of irrigation, a lot of the things, a lot of things that were promised from the president have not happened, right? Which is problematic at a base level, right? And so, while we do have some good news, some areas, again, Northeast, Northwest, Nipes, Gandas, there are seeing some activity. We aren't seeing much activity in Artibonite, right? That was promised. A lot of folks are disputing a lot of the claims that are happening in that specific area, right? Very problematic, very problematic. And the last piece of information has to do with the northern landfill. Let me take a quick sip of water. Has to do with the northern landfill. Now, for those who've been keeping track of this, has been an ongoing news story. I've been talking about this news story really since the inception of the Haiti Business News Show. To give you guys some background in the sort of Cap Haitien, Côte Morin, Limonade area there. If you guys see what I'm talking about, up in the north area there, there's this place specifically called Muchanet. There's an area designated to be a landfill. I think one of the landfills. I don't think they have a landfill formally right now. If they do, it's probably just a very small little thing. And so initially they were trying to get 19 acres. When I say they, the municipal government there, in conjunction with the IDB, the French Development Agency, and the Inter-American Development Bank, they were providing $33.5 million to create a very modern, world standard landfill that would cover about 19.5 hectares. It was slowed down quite a bit because, as always, anytime land is one of the most diciest things you can do in Haiti. And so once that was announced, a lot of folks said, no, I have land here, I have ancestral claims, and so they had to pay out a lot of people. But then once they thought they paid everyone off, there was a businessman by the name of Leslie Nazon who said, no, a big chunk of the 19 hectares, like, I don't know, several hectares, he said was his land. And he was fighting aggressively to ensure, actually, he didn't want it to happen at all, actually, is my understanding. He didn't even want the money. He just didn't want it to happen on his land. which can be understandable, I guess, if you have land that's yours and you don't want it to become a trash dump. But listen, every government on the planet has the right of eminent domain. If there's a project that could be done that's going to benefit the state, a state has the right to take it, but give you compensation for it. And so it was going back and forth with the courts for quite a bit, but ultimately the courts ruled in favor of the state, and the municipality took over that land, and they're moving forward. Unfortunately, even with that, though, there was a very big piece missing, and that piece missing was the fact that the executive branch, the president, the final piece of eminent domain of being able to take land, you have to declare it as public domain. It was never declared, right? The municipality declared it, but the president never declared it. And the president is really through the Interior, the Minister of Interior. What was that? The State and Interior. Let me see if I can find on my list. I have my list here. Is the Minister of the Interior, the Collective Territories. Yeah, right. So the Ministry of the Interior and Collective Territories, right? We kind of had to go through them. It never really happened, but nonetheless. So, and literally, as always with Haiti, like I swear to God, it's crazy. Like nothing happens because it needs to happen, right? The only way things happen is with threats. It's insane. It's insane. So here's what happened. The IDB said, listen, we've tried, to the president, we've contacted you several times about this. We cannot move forward without the final piece, because once the president says something's public domain, then at no point can anyone go back and refute it. It won't go back to court, right? There will just be discussions about how much to pay you, but it won't be delayed. It won't have to go back to court, right? And so before they could give the first disbursement of this 33.5 million, the IDP wanted this final piece of a very important legal status, right? Otherwise, they could be at risk of losing their investment, right? Right. And so literally, it sat probably somewhere on King Moise's desk, unread for a long time. And they had to send a letter saying, hey, listen, our disbursement date is June 9th. We haven't got anything from you. And we're going to pour the money. This 35.5 million, we're going to pull it. Right? We have no choice. We've actually extended it, the date like twice, 3 times. And we're going to pull the money. We're going to pull it. And it was only then after being threatened that at the last minute, like the day of, or maybe the day before, did the decree go out in the Moniteur that said yes. And on top of that, surprisingly, they were initially asking 19 hectares. I don't know. I feel this is going to be another big point of contention here, but the decree actually highlighted 40 hectares, so double the amount being asked. It was declared as public utility. It was public land, for the landfill. And so that was the last hurdle. Construction has started. Money's been dispersed. And why this is such a big deal is, again, you guys visited Haiti. You guys seen the photos of Haiti, right? It's dirty, right? The trash collection is one of the lowest in the entire Caribbean. I think we for example, Port-au-Prince specifically only collects 30% of the trash that accrues per month. Only 30%. I mean, 70% of all trash sits on the streets, in the canals, and ultimately funnels out to the bassin in Haiti, right? And so this is important because one of the big reasons why Haiti is so dirty is because there hasn't really been modern or multiple landfills available for trash to go, which is insane, right? Again, it's insane, but it's not insane when you understand that, for example, Haiti is the largest city in the world not to have a sewage system. Everyone, as you know, if you know anything about Haiti, you handle your sewage by basically building a septic tank, but it's not really a septic tank. You kind of just dig a hole, you put some freaking some cement along the walls, and then and then that's where all the sewage goes from your home until it gets full, and then a company comes and it sucks it out. And then for a very long time, that's why cholera happened. For a very long time, we didn't even have a sewage treatment plant. That only happened recently after the cholera outbreak. What people would do with sewage would be literally they would take it to we have one dump near Cité Soleil. I forget the name. I'm sure you guys can help me out with it. But that's where the unlined just sewage amongst trash would be dumped, and that's if it got there, right? Most of the time, the sewage honestly would go in like rivers, like just be dumped along the way, along rivers and canals, just raw sewage just being dumped, and again, that's one thing that contributed ultimately to the cholera. And that's why we have an actual sewage treatment plant today. I believe it's near Titagne. I believe we have an actual sewage treatment plant now, right? Which still is a very basic, it's a very like the most low grade sewage treatment thing you could do is what we have here, right? And that's how, that's sanitation in Haiti, right? It's incredible that we're talking about these sort of things in 2020. I'm in America here. My neighbor has a Tesla. The car drives itself. But yeah, we're just now talking about sewage, central sewage. No, we're not talking about it actually. We're just talking about general sewage, right? Treatment plants, right? It's a problem, right? But in any case, this is very good news. This is a very important, necessary structural sort of infrastructure that Haiti needs. And one day, hopefully we have a government that does these sort of projects all the time, consistently, that can drive the necessary change and productivity that is needed, right? So that's the last piece of news. Again, I'm very happy. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy about these news stories. I feel that's good news. Agriculture recap overall, it's good. The national budget, of course, terrible. But still having those numbers to review is great. So overall, just looking back at the overall stories today, airports reopening, on a personal level, it's good. I still question the overall public health perspective of that news story. And of course, as always, the international community is stepping up to provide assistance to the community at large. And COVID, of course, still hammering folks, but 9 million masks dispersed by the Haitian government. Got to give the credit where credit is due. And 9 million masks distributed for free to the population. It's a good number, an important number that should be recognized, right? So let's just see what folks are saying in the chats before we call it for the day. Let's scroll up a little further. Let's see. Okay, yep. Yvel says, I think it's because the United States intervention, they don't trust them. I think Evan was saying something I was talking about way many minutes ago. I don't necessarily remember what it was. Regina follows up, says, regarding the sanitation issue, this sector or any landfill like Titagne or the planned northern one should be self-sustaining or pays for itself. Port-au-Prince generates 2,000 tons of waste, which can produce biofertilizers, electricity, which can offset the cost. I 1,000% agree with you. Matter of fact, the book I'm writing, that's one of these, one of the ideas I have expressed is, the fact that, we really need to look at how to make it self-sustaining, because, just adding costs to the Haitian state, budgets get cut, money disappears. Certainly if we can get it in a way where, because again, ideally, the way it should work and the way it works across the world is what? You have municipalities who are able to collect taxes, property tax, and through property tax, they pay for local trash collection, right? But because in Haiti, no one pays property tax, the law's set up in a way where, it's the laws. The laws are messed up. And honestly, so you can't be charged tax on vacant land, basically, is the way the legal system works in Haiti, which is bullshit. Absolute BS. All land should be taxed, period, right? And in fact, it would add incentive for people to develop land because why would you just want land sitting there and you're paying tax on? You want to develop it so that you can pay the tax, right? So Haiti's not set up that way, So if you don't have anything on the land, you don't pay tax. So guess what? My incentive is to not put anything on that land until I feel like until I have some other incentive to make me do it, right? And for a long time too, that's one reason why you see so many half-finished buildings, where if a building is literally, you can argue and say, oh, well, we're not done with this building just yet, and you don't pay tax on it. Though the laws are starting to change. The laws have changed to say, no, it doesn't really matter. If you still got to pay tax on it. There's a structure on it. You got to pay tax on it. But even then, that's very, whether as much how that is actually enforced, as it depends on the day and the wind, right? In terms of enforcement consistency with that. But that's how it works everywhere in the world. Property tax is paid. The municipality has money to then pay either public sanitation or private sanitation to clean and keep the streets clean. Haiti doesn't have that. Property taxes are paid, and the state, which is a big part of the municipality's budget to do things, doesn't pay on time. That pays very little in terms of actually what's needed to financially operate the municipality, right? So all these things come together to what you see, which is a very dirty country, right? With no trash collection, which is insane, right? And so certainly I like Regina's idea, given that reality, and given that municipalities don't collect tax and the state doesn't disperse enough money to municipalities, then any real sustainable trash collection solution being advocated needs a way for that same trash that's being picked up that needs to serve as a revenue generation vehicle itself, right? That picking up trash needs to make money itself, given that there is no other way for that trash to sustain itself, right? So I totally agree with you, Regina. That's why I appreciate your comments all the time. Appreciate it. Emma Ray follows up. When I was in Haiti, I would burn my trash in my yard. That is very common. Even where I live, there's like right around the corner, massive dumping field where a lot of the local Haitians, there's no trash collection. What can you do? There's no trash collection, right? It's not that the Haitians, I want folks to think Haitians are dirty people. I mean, there's no trash collection, right? And so what they have to do is no choice. They pile it in this empty vacant lot and they burn it, right? Because there is no trash collection. Right? There is no trash collection. I can't stress that enough. Haitians are not dirty people. If there were trash collection, for example, I do know. In fact, let me be frank. I know in Woodfouet, near where I reside, they recently added 2 very large dumpsters, right, for trash collection. And guess what? I'm about to blow your mind, guys. It's being used. It's being used, right? You give Haitians places to dump their trash legally, and where the trash is going to be collected by a trash, whatever machine truck. Haitians will use it, and they'll keep their country clean, right? Big surprise. But the problem is the state has not provided those avenues, right? Thanks, Amaray. Judy follows up. Recycling needs to be increased, and also teaching people not to throw in the street. It's not, Judy. Let's be clear. You have to teach people to throw stuff in the street. Judy, let me ask you a question. I don't know last time you've been to Haiti, but tell me, try to walk around Haiti and count the amount of trash bins that exist. Like when you go to a park in America, there'll be 20 different trash bins. So if somebody throws trash in America or any country, cuss them out, yell at them. What's the matter with you? Stop being a lazy, whatever. Hold on to your trash, find the nearest trash bin, put it in the trash bin, right? In Haiti, try to find a trash bin. Try to find it on the streets. Try to find it in the park. Try to find it anywhere, right? You don't need to teach Haitians anything. Come on, man. You're being insulting. The state needs to provide people places to throw their trash out. That's what needs to happen. That's what needs to happen. If that were to happen, you see a lot less trash, and you see Haitians taking the proper steps to keep their community clean. Period. That's it. Point blank. right? Thank you, Regina. FV follows up, says, wasn't the Petrocraver money partially to invest in the show? Listen, the Petrocraver money was supposed to do a lot of things. Let's not go there. We know what really happened, right? It went to the pockets of an absolutely insanely corrupt section of politicians and business people. Right? Regina follows up, says, to note Haiti, to note that Haiti imports approximately 40 million tons of fertilizer. Much of this fertilizer can be made and produced locally and would offset and reduce the imports of fertilizers. I totally agree with you. So I mean, if you ever been to a market, like the open markets, where the mama segas open market, where you actually buy stuff at night, the amount of organic, like the raw stuff that wasn't sold or were bad, piles up taller than you. That's all organic trash that, if it was picked up and specifically sent to an organic fertilizer center, could make an exceptional amount of money, create jobs, improve the agriculture industry for basically free. You're literally picking up trash, and that trash then will turn around and sell itself and call and provide you money to pick up trash more efficiently elsewhere. Totally agree with you, Regina. Absolutely. Jomo better save Haiti by passing these kind of laws. It's not going to happen. Honestly, that's what I've always said. We would see the true constitution, the true vision, the true colors of Jovenel right now. Right now, we would see it. Right? He's in a position where he has the next year and a half. There's no elections going to be. He's not. He's giving lip service to the international community. Oh, we're going to run. We're going to run elections. Yeah. We're going to run elections. Come on, let's be real. He's not going to run elections. So in fact, he's running as a king right now. So he has the capacity with no opposition to do anything and everything to improve the legal, business, environmental aspects of the country right now. Just writing a decree. He could very easily write a decree and say, hey, this is how we're going to do. This is how we're going to restructure the sanitation of how we do things. He's a king right now. He is King Moise, first of his name, breaker of chains. You guys get the Game of Thrones reference, right? Right. But we're not really seeing. We saw this first bit of legislation, which is related to the rental system, right? Which is great. I'm happy to see it. But I'm looking for these other things that, environment, trash pickup. I'm looking for these sort of things, really. So we'll see. His terms is not up just yet. So we'll see if King Moise. I'll tell you what, man, I'll be the biggest PHTK running on air if this dude can actually deliver on some real structural reform that can start moving this country in the right direction. I'll be the first person praising, him and his party, right? But up until now, I have not seen these structural things that are necessary. Lucien follows up, says, I am optimistic on Haiti. The millennials in Haiti are ready for development of their country. I hope more wealthy African Americans would invest in Haiti for the good of Haiti. I totally agree with you, Lucien. Totally agree with you. Randy Mortison follows up. Hey, Randy, I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, man. Randy says, great show. For 15 years now, we've been working to eliminate the chronic dependency that's been created by the well-intentioned North Americans and Europeans who have taken their broken welfare systems that have never worked as intended and transplanted those systems in Haiti and around the globe, expecting better results. Sustainability is the key to restoring the dignity of my Haitian brothers and sisters. Randy, love the statement. Spot on. I can't add anything else to it. Totally agree with you. 100%. 100,000%. Totally agree with you, Randy. Thanks for that comment. It's appreciated. Thank you, sir. So Rose says, Gene, this is my first time I be your show. I've see future President Haiti, and I will pray for you. You will be the one. Let's be clear, guys. Mark my words. You heard it here first. I, SeeJeanty, will not be a politician. I do not want anything to do with politics in Haiti. Right? Very be clear. nan gouvernement qui a gardé ba moi là qui pense nèg ça peut dire ça très clair bon dire dans créole m'ba dans politique zéro jodi a dans politique demain comme 40 ans dans politique comme 60 ans dans politique. I will never ever hold office. I don't want to be a deputy. I don't want to be a senator. You know, at most, if I were to do it, I'd accept like an ambassadorship. You know, it's a sort of talk and drive investments toward Haiti. I mean, that's the most I think I'd accept, right? But to actually hold office in that sense, never, right? And I have many reasons for that, right? But fundamentally, my focus is business. My focus is the real structural reform. And though I do talk about how we do want voting to happen, right? But I want voting to happen so a rationality can be infused in the political system that is non-existent right now in Haiti. That's it, right? And as in so much that you call that politics, I mean, that's as much I'll be in politics, is to push voting for Haitian diaspora, for any Haitian national of Haitian descent. You should be able to vote, period, right? And I'm going to always keep pushing for that. But beyond that, I appreciate the gestures and the comments, but believe me, I will never, ever run for office. Let's be clear, right? I don't want that smoke. Don't want that heat. And I feel I can do a lot more on the sidelines than I could ever do being part of the system. But thank you, Rosemary. I appreciate the kind comments. Regina Barjon says, they are trash collecting companies. Yep, they're simply private trash collection companies. Let's do it. Not $40 million in fertilizer, but $400 million per year in imports. Absolutely. I think the rightly capitalized company who can come in the right way, because you need some serious infrastructure investments, right? You need lots of land. You need trucks. You need the material that helps get that fertilizer process going, and of course bagging it, shipping it out. It is a sizable investment, but certainly an investment that can work. And I certainly do hope that we get to a point where we have enough Haitian entrepreneurs who are doing well in the country who can pull together those sort of resources to do those very big structural businesses that will be profitable, but also have a maximum chance of success, right? I would never advocate for someone to be able to do a business like that, but not being familiar with the country. That's to me, those sort of ventures are ventures for second or third generation businesses, right? Because of the very large, anything that has a very large fixed cost to do in Haiti, I would suggest, and especially if it's domestic facing on top of that as a second thing. It's domestic facing because the fertilizer is you're picking it up. A lot of it should go to farmers in Haiti. So whenever you're doing that sort of business, it's little. I would advocate anyone to do this sort of business I talked about before, where you're buying products and selling them across the world. It's just a lot less friction points when you do a business like that. When you're buying Haitian agricultural products, for example, and selling them to the world, a lot less friction points. But when you're domestically facing, there is tremendous amount of friction points, tremendous amount of politics, tremendous amount of a lot of things that honestly can be very discouraging. And on top of that, too, when you're dependent on the domestic economy of Haiti, that is always in free fall, always in a roller coaster, right? I say do it because it needs to be done, but I would never tell someone for it to be your first business, right? So, but I do agree. I think there's a lot of money to be made if it's done the right way. I think it's a cash cow, right? And it would help tremendously too, the overall sanitation, right? Anne-Marie follows up: how much would it cost for sanitation for the country? I can't answer that, but it's not about a cost, right? It's about the structure, and we don't have the structure in place for sustainable sanitation. Remember, everywhere in the world, sanitation happens by municipalities having private contracts with either, usually
almost always private companies, right? Although sometimes they have relationships with the state, right? And they pay the state for certain fees, but for the most part, it's private companies, right? And Haiti doesn't have that. Haiti is fully dependent on the national budget, right? The municipalities are national, whatever little zing of money they get is what their operational budget is, and it's nowhere enough. And so it's not really a question of cost; it's a question of structure, and how can Haiti finally structure itself in a way to where property taxes are paid. I just mentioned to you that the law needs to change so that all land is taxed, not just land that has stuff on it, right? And again, more income needs to be able to come from the municipalities, so the municipalities can then have money to pay for collection in their areas, right? Alexis says, who are the corrupt politicians who are involved with the Petrocaribe corruption? There's lots of literature on this, Evel. What you can do is, what I'd advise you to do is literally Google Petrocaribe Haiti report, right? And there's been 2 to 3 reports, very long, very detailed, that literally document case by case, misappropriated fund by misappropriated fund, malaligned project by malaligned project, and who's connected to it, the names involved, the politicians, the business people, the Dominican companies, all that is listed in clear detail, okay? And that could easily take a whole entire episode, if maybe 2 episodes, to be quite honest with you, Evel. So I won't do it here, but literally Google Petrocaribe Haiti report, and I know for sure there's at least 2. I think there's 3, and yeah, you can just it makes great bedtime reading. Let me tell you. Regina says, "Don't worry. Whenever you talk like that, they think you're interested in politics." Yeah, I know. When you're talking common sense. But no, I don't want nothing to do with no politics. Believe me. I just want a better Haiti, and whoever can bring it, I'm for that, right? Tori Andrews says, how you ever host even in the States? I don't quite understand that. If you can rewrite that, Tori, I don't quite understand your question. FC goes, no worries. You can always say, we know. You always say, okay, thank you. Yeah, FC knows that. FC knows we're not politics here. Terry Daniel follows up. First time I'm seeing Terry Daniel's name, actually. Good to see you. Here, hope to see you again at 11 a.m. We're here Sundays. Terry Daniel says, the practice of composting is starting to pick up in Haiti. I've seen several videos on YouTube on it. Also, the Haitian government needs to tackle deforestation issue as well. Totally agree with you, Terry. Totally agree with you. Sandra Zamor, first time I'm seeing Sandra here. Good to see you. Again, we're here at 11 a.m. Hope to see you. Don't be shy. Says, my name is Sandra. This is my first time on the channel. I was referred to by Philly Dom. My man. Thanks, Philly. He says, I was wondering, what businesses do you believe would flourish in Haiti? You know what? I'll do you one more. Sandra. So I'm working on a book. Things have slowed down, I'll be honest. Things have slowed down a little bit on that book because I've had recently a lot of stuff on my plate. But still, I am still chipping away at it. In fact, once I get off air today, I'll be spending all of today working on that book, right? But because I get that question a lot, and I feel like, the way forward, honestly, is one of the first steps is having a place where I can say, hey, here's some ideas about some businesses that I know could work. Here's some niche ideas of how they can work. Here's some ideas too where they could work, right? Here's some tips to make it work. And on top of that, here are some examples of people doing this sort of, here's the idea, and they're doing a component of that idea I just proposed, right? So it's not just me talking out my butt saying, oh, you can do this and being all, hey, like some guy smoking weed. Oh man, what if you no, this is real, because I'm showing you, like, there's companies doing exactly the idea I just proposed, right? But it could be done better, and there could be more businesses. And so I'm working on this book, right? And here's the title of the book, by the way, the working title. I may tweak it later, but 101 ways to make money in Haiti, lucrative business ideas, right? 101.
right? Lucrative business ideas, inspirational success stories, intriguing business opportunities for forward-thinking entrepreneurs. Working on that book. And hopefully I really hope I can get it out by before the end of the year, right? And I want folks to be able to see, here's all the different things you can do, to help change and impact the country, and a lot of these ideas, the vast majority of them, you don't need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of money, right? A few $100, a few $100 maybe, right? And just get started, right? And so I'm working on that. And Sandra, I hope once that is out, I look forward to telling you so you can pick up a copy, right? Okay. So thanks, Sandra. Regina says Haiti doesn't have a money problem. Never did. Haiti has a corruption problem. I totally agree with you, 100,000%. Judy follows up, says there's also a lot of food wasting in Haiti. Farmers lose a lot of crops. Those items can be converted into feed for animals. I agree with you. Regina says there's a vertical integration opportunities for these already established for waste companies. I totally agree with you. Lots of potential ways to make money. In Haiti, in fact, there's a company that one of the first companies I look forward to being able to highlight once I'm back in the country, and also the owner is back in the country. He's Haitian American. It's a company that is basically picking up plastic in Haiti, and then it has a machine to kind of force them together into a block. And then actually ships them to North Carolina, and there's a company in North Carolina that sort of then reuses this plastic, for a lot of different applications, right? And so those are sort of things. For example, Regina, right? That the money to be made through waste collection, where you're correcting two problems: the trash issue, waste issue, and making money and improving the jobs, improving the economy. They go hand in hand, right? And any government that really is serious about improving the conditions of the country will take these sort of avenues very serious. But in the meantime, we can do it ourselves, right? Haiti's one of the richest. Follows up. Randy Mortson says one of the real benefits of the untilled Haitian hectares is the fact that the farmland hasn't been tainted by poisonous chemicals and fertilizers. Instead, we have the opportunity to produce healthy and organic foods. Absolutely. You're dead on, Randy, right? A lot of folks will hear, oh, man, soil, but no, actually, this is a grand opportunity to create agricultural productivity that is what is where the world is moving. The world is moving towards, right? The world is moving towards organic, right? And Haiti has incredible opportunity to seize it on that. Evo says, it's funny how we were able to pay for our freedom, the burden of France put on us, but unable to pay for the development in the country. It's problematic. I certainly agree with you, Evo. Sadly funny, right? Startup Life says, oh man, I'm just making it. Our property's taxed and assessed, right? Startup Life, hey, good to see you there. Our property taxers, I think I mentioned it. I think I mentioned it, which was basically, so it's saying the value of the property, right? The land value of the property, and it's just there's some formula involved. I couldn't tell you. It's partially dependent upon how much that land was sold to in the first place, right? That's very important. So how much the land was sold to in the first place, and in comparatives, how is land in the area also being sold as well, drive is a big part of how much property tax is assessed. And what's interesting about Haitian tax law, property tax law, it doesn't really matter what building is on there necessarily. What matters, they tax the land value, not what's on the land necessarily. So, but actually, I take that back, because once the building is up, then actually the big part of how they tax you actually is based off of how much you're renting for. Say, particularly if you're renting to people, actually a part of the equation is a part of how much you're renting. So again, there's no easy fluid answer there for your starter life, but those are the two factors: the land, the amount that you bought the land for, and also the activity, any rental activity that may be occurring.
as well, right? Mia Alexis says, how would poor people pay taxes without jobs, right? Great question, right? But I'm not talking about them. Understand that? I'm talking about, I'm not sure last time you've been to Haiti, Mia, but if you drive around Haiti, we're driving around Vivi Michel, you drive around Delma, Upper Delma, Lower Delma, you drive around Pétionville, you drive around Montanois, you drive around Fermat, you drive around Kenskoff. I see homes, man. I don't know. I'm about to blow your mind, Mia, but Haiti isn't just shacks and tin huts. I'm gonna blow your mind. This is gonna be crazy to you, but there's actually homes built in Haiti that are actually just like real homes. It's crazy, right? It's the craziest thing. I'm talking about them. I'm talking about those folks who have actual homes. They should pay property tax on that. That's who I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about the folks in the bidonvilles who are just barely making enough, and are going hungry. You're talking about them. I'm talking about the folks with massive mansions behind. Of course, it's hard to see how nice their homes are. I understand that because Haiti's a land of walls. I always call that it's a nation of walls. Everything has massive walls up to 3-4 people high, right? So maybe you missed it behind the walls. Those are the people who should be paying taxes. I always hear this a lot. So I'm being a little snippet with Mia here because you hear this a lot. You're like, but they're poor. They can't. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the folks who have these mansions who could pay property tax, but they don't, right? And the fact that the municipalities don't go after them to pay because they can't really go after them. There's no laws. Like America's pretty straightforward in America. You don't pay your property tax. You go 2-3 years, you don't pay your property tax. Guess what? The government comes and takes your land. They take it and they sell it through a tax sale, a tax auction, right? And anyone who can come. Well, first off, they try to do a lien, right? They put a lien on your property. You don't pay the lien, then whoever can buy the lien then gets possession of your land, right? But guess what? It's a bit harsh that you can use your land. I mean, the people always say you don't really ever own your land in the sense that anytime the state could come and take it if you don't pay them, right? But guess what? We have in America, we have money to pay for sanitation and clean streets and sewage and clean water and pipes and electricity. All that comes because that capacity to build that sort of infrastructure comes because property tax is collected and there's real consequences to not paying your property tax. That's all. I'm not talking about bidonvilles. I'm talking about the people who have these massive mansions and have the means to pay their tax. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Thanks, Mia. Amaray Bell says, but how do we arrest the corrupt ones and sue them? That's going to take a while. That's going to take a while. That's a multi-generational process, Amaray. That's the short answer. It's not, I'm not going to sit here and give you fluff and give you, here's what no. It's going to take a long time because the structure in place in Haiti right now allows people to do and behave in that way with impunity, right? It's going to take a long time, right? But a big part of it is us re-engaging and helping dilute the incredible amount of corruption that exists just by our presence being there and us not participating in it and providing jobs and economic opportunity, right?
Even bigger than Petrocaribe loss is the fact that Haiti should be collecting $600 million a year from the Haitian Dominican commerce. That is not collected by the Haitian government. So I'm not sure, Regina, if you mean that. I know a lot of activity on the border doesn't happen because of I'm looking for a word here. God damn it! What's it called? When you smuggling, there's a thing when you smuggle across the border. There's a better word for that, but so a lot of stuff gets through the border that untaxed. I'm not sure you're talking about that. or something else. But yeah, that is a big problem, right? Tori Andrew says, have I ever what? Ask the question in full. As you can see, I go through a lot of comments. So ask your question in full, Tori. I'm not following. Lucian says, Randy, Lucian's following up with Randy, right? Lucian's following up with Randy. Sandra says, all right, looking forward to seeing the book. Look forward to releasing it. Trust me. Let's see. Lots of comments. I love it. Keep them coming. Regina says, multiply 600 million uncollected for 10 years, and that's a much bigger loss than picture creep. I agree with you. There is a massive issue with, there's a better word for it. I know you guys, I'm sure you're correcting me down there. There's a better word for it, but a lot of money gets lost because we're not taxing a lot of stuff at the border. A lot of stuff goes untaxed, and that's a problem, not only for the economy as a whole, because you're getting these basically, it's very uncompetitive because the prices don't represent what they should be, but then also the state loses a massive amount of income, right? Regina follows up, says farmers lose some 50% of their crops. Regina says, need these plastics to make bottles, right? Actually, I think I should have responded to you, Regina, on that. I think you asked about that, and I think I found out that they just literally pack them and then ship them out. They don't have anything to redo or remake these plastic bottles, right? So unless you have the machinery, then you can reach back out to me, Regina. I can try to put you in contact with that company. Nick Marone says, talking about the deforestation issue, I still don't understand how come people still sell charcoal in Haiti. They sell it because, listen, I think I talked about this before. In Jamaica, was starting to face this issue as well. But guess what Jamaica did? Not only did they make it illegal to sell it, and they put actual enforcement mechanisms to catch people and arrest people, and people go to jail and pay fines. But here's the most important part that allowed Jamaica to avoid and continue to avoid this deforestation. They go to these poor rural areas and they give them alternatives, right? Very cheaply, or perhaps outright gives them alternatives like natural gas and other things to cook, because these folks need to cook. And if you just sit from Port-au-Prince or sit from your house and say, man, these people need to stop with this charcoal. But how are these people going to cook their food, man? Right? How are they going to? There's no avenue for it. There's no avenue for. So the state, there is no. So Aibo posted a very interesting article where actually a guy that we featured on SeeJeanty, Philip Vaudrin, one of my most popular videos right now is the Montcel episode, and we did an interview with Monsieur Philip Vaudrin, and one of the most watched episodes. And he actually has a company that takes the compost, like the residual things of rice farming and sugarcane farming, and makes them into basically this cube or this circular. There's a word for it, but basically a cube that patients can buy, anybody can buy, and to cook with. It's much better than shabo. The problem is that it's not as widely available, right, as just cutting a tree that's across the street from you, say if you're in a rural area. And secondly, at the end of the day, even if it was widely available, there's no consequence to cutting the tree across from me, right? There's no enforcement, right? And so, yeah, I could probably buy it. Even if it was widely available, I could probably buy it. But free is free. Zero is always better than even one good. So I'll just cut that tree over there, right? And so what needs to happen, Nigmao, is this, you can have, and Philip Vaudrin has talked about this, where, they make just enough money and just barely, it's not, what needs to happen is the state needs to purchase from them at market price, right? And then distribute that to the people, make it widely available, while at the same time having very aggressive enforcement of people who were found out and known to be cutting trees. That's the only way things will change, right? In the long term. All right.
All right. Regina follows up, says, making the rest of the Caribbean our markets. Terry Daniels says, when this COVID situation subsides, you think Haiti will host another Haiti Tech Summit? I love Haiti. I mean, they're, I don't know if you've been following Terry, but, they've announced another tech summit. It's still happening this year. It's happening in October. It's happening virtually, right? But it's still happening. And once COVID's over, absolutely. I know Christine Tim. She has a 13-year plan for the Haiti Tech Summit. So it's not even a question. I feel it's blasphemy to even be asking that, Terry. Blasphemy. Like, if you've really legitimately been following the Haiti Tech Summit, legitimately, then you should know that there isn't a question if it's not going to happen. It's gonna happen. I mean, when Christine, during the worst of the protests last year, Pay Loc, her and her husband flew in, and literally there was a bridge that collapsed. So between the incredible amount of protesters and a collapsed bridge, she drove over just so she could physically be there to help organize the Haiti Tech Summit last year, right? Come on now. There should be no question at that point when she's showing that level of dedication, whether or not it's going to be one every year for 13 years like she promised. Come on now, Terry. Come on. What are you doing? Stop that. IG's about to finish. I am not going to renew it because we're wrapping up here. So again, if you're on IG, go to Facebook, go to YouTube, check us out there. All right. So next, further down, Evel goes, my bad, SeeJeanty, I need to stop asking you these political questions. Exactly. I don't want that smoke. No, thank you. Right? No, thank you. Thank you for that. Right? I mean, just go quickly and close this up there. All right. So Mia, to my surprise, I see $1 million on to Haiti and they get trash picked up, electricity, and pay no taxes, yet they expect poor to pay. Right? Got you. So Mia, we're on the same page here, right? Right. You see the homes, right? And right. And exactly. I mean, obviously when it comes to electricity, everyone who has money has their own electricity. That's just the reality of Haiti. Between generators and solar panels, those with money don't really suffer electricity issues. You know what I mean? It's expensive, to set up your own battery system and set up your own delcos and et cetera. But so electricity is not an issue.
Sorry,
Trash.
I don't understand.
Trash pickup also isn't a problem either, right? Because people with means also do pay private companies to go pick up their trash. So that's not a thing either. But you're right. They don't pay taxes though. They don't pay their property tax that they should. And again, you can't blame them, right? They're not incentivized, right? I mean, how much of a hassle it is to go to DGE or go to your municipal area to pay your tax. In fact, Delma, one of the reasons why Delma has such a high property tax payment rate relative to the whole country. I mean, they're pretty high. They're like high, 14% or something, or something like that. That's considered like, whoa, high, right? Is because they've made it like really easy, like stupid easy, very frictionless. You literally go to a window, you give your address. I think they even do it by GPS now. And like within 30 minutes, you've paid and you're out. Like they've made it frictionless. But Delma, run by Wilson and Judy, is a rare example of a commune and administration that gets it, that understands it, right? Very few get it, right? But when I say you don't blame them, because for two reasons. It's a pain to do anything within the bureaucracy of the Haitian government, right? And B, you're not really incentivized in a sense. You don't get a carrot, you don't get a stick, right? No one's really going to come after you, right? If you don't do it, right? And you're not incentivized. You don't get a tax break or anything. When you actually pay, so you don't get a carrot, you don't get a stick, right? And also, the only time you'll see someone actually pay property tax in Haiti is when there's a land dispute. Or if there's somebody who's on their property who shouldn't be, and then before they can evict them, they have to show that they're the legal owners and they've current with their property tax. And that's like, I swear to God, that is the only time you'll see anybody in Haiti pay their property tax. Like you see somebody going up to wherever the municipality, you ask them, hey, why are you paying that? Yeah, man, I'm having some tenant issues, man. I'm trying to get these MFers out. So here I am paying 10 years worth of property tax to get current, right? And so, but again, I don't, it's very easy to blame the rich person, but again, all roads lead back to the Haitian government. All roads lead back. It's like, those saying, all roads lead to Rome. All roads lead to the Haitian government, and the poor legal infrastructure incentives that are in place for people to behave the right way, right? There's no incentives for people to behave the right way because laws aren't being passed. They aren't doing their jobs, right? David Bassett says, are y'all on our Reddit? Let's have a discussion. We can continue 24/7. I'm on. I think you're talking about Reddit. I think you're talking about Reddit, right? Nothing. Yeah, there's not much activity in Reddit Haiti. So Regina Barzon follows up, says, according to the World Bank study, the formal economy is comprised of only approximately 30% of the economy. There's an additional 30% of the population who can afford to actively participate in the economy. This means pay taxes. And about 30% of the population needs to be included and integrated in the formal economy. I totally agree with you, Regina. Startup Life follows up and says, where is that? Startup Life says, some of these folks also don't know how to pay the property tax. If they build a home in Haiti, they own their homes in Haiti, depend on people in Haiti to navigate the system. That's not true. Everyone, just ask somebody. It's not, it's not. If you live in a particular commune, hey, how do you pay taxes? Oh, yeah. They know how to pay taxes. There's no incentive to. Let's be honest. Leo TKP says, ou pa fait livre ça pour haïtien même, non? Place moins gelen pa la. First off, Leo, welcome to Haiti Biz News Show, number one. Number two, there will be a Creole version that comes out very quickly after the book. I promise you, that's number two. Number three, this is an English speaking space, just because there is no place online. Oui, nous parlons anglais là, par rapport, c'est pas que nous pas capable de créole là, même les un petit accent, c'est parce que il y a l'autre côté moun qui receive la nouvelle yo qui basé dans étranger et anglais c'est les langages préférables yo. Ça veut dire qui ça? Parce que nous même Lio faut pas vérité parce que ou même ou gain nouvelle qui côté ou gain radio métropole ou gain radio Caribé ou gain et tu peux aller la caille avec les mêmes sujets qu'on a parlé sous là par exemple ou gain Jean Napoléon ou gain Guy Wewe ou gain Carpedre avec Chocarel là ou gain tout ça yo pour recevoir information en créole qui des bases qui a progressé capacité et conversation non ou gain tout côté ça yo. Si vous avez dit mon côté, vous avez recevoir ça m'a en anglais ça. En anglais de l'autre côté, je suis bien content. Je suis bien content. D'abord, pour me dire un bail, côté mieux là avec c'est un 3 zing de monde comme abonnement, comme followers. On zing. C'est parce que je connais si me basé encore, je grandi puis rapide longtemps oui. Longtemps. Mais c'est parce que j'ai une mission. Parce que moi-même, je suis un monde qui est basé là-bas pour me réengager dans le pays, pour le développement. Tout ça m'a fait là. Si je suis un côté anglais qui t'a aidé avec le processus, je suis bien content pour me suivre, mais par rapport à battre, je crée un côté que monde qui vraiment avait engagé. Enfin, plus non, c'est l'autre haïtien qui veut engager dans le pays. Yo ka recevoir information dans langue préférable c'est pas grave yo pas grave plus moun sa capter maintenant yo comprendre ça m'a dit là on ka faire une émission en créole facilement c'est pas un problème mais faut comprendre ça faut comprendre que par rapport que devoir les shooter nous dehors par rapport crise économique là dans commencement 1990 yo chute à pile monde dehors pile monde même Josia là ou gen moun Chili t'allé là actuellement ça m'a fait là on joue, on a besoin, on est qui basé espagnol pour faire même bail là pour moun espagnol yo qui besoin rentrer et réinvestir à changer pays. Pas dire ça, pas venir là pour dire que non, nous devons anglais bail ça parce que faut comprendre haïtien nous vient toute langue Même les créoles qui connectent nous, mais encore, il y a besoin de côté qui moun sa yo ka vraiment améliorer et ça yo connaît dans pays dans langue pa yo. C'est ça nous a fait là. Oui. En tout cas, tout m'a dit ça pas pour me fâcher avant, moi comme ça, je suis bien content parce que ça veut dire qu'on a un monde qui vient qui dit on va comme ça parce que d'abord ou pas comme ça ou nouveau bien qu'on a pas chance pour ba information comme ça. OK, pour expliquer, il y a plus de respect pour créole là. Actuellement, m'a bien content un jour comme ça basé ça va faire en créole seulement, bien content. Mais pour qu'on y a anglais nécessaire parce qu'il y a l'autre côté qui information qu'à recevoir jamais balé là. Est-ce que vous comprenez? Est-ce que vous comprenez bien? OK. Thank you, Leo. Appreciate it. Hope to see you. Tant pis, embodiment. Follow. Je vais sur YouTube là. Il y a un gros bouton rouge là qui dit subscribe. Cliquez pour moi. Merci Apple. Merci Apple. Thank you, Leo. So following up, Startup Life says, and by the way, I just explained to Leo, why we do stuff in English here. You guys know. My regulars know, right? Startup Life, who collects tax, property tax? The municipality collects it, not the department, the municipality. Delma has their own property tax area. Pitchfield has their own property tax area. Okay. Regina says, collected the deliberate part of the government. I don't quite understand when you say deliberate. Are you talking about like the tariffs, not charging tariffs? I don't quite understand that. Regina Baron, displacement of shark curl can be done with indigenous products. Michelle Ange Jr. Says, one question, Cash App is not allowed in Canada. PayPal is good for you. That's weird. PayPal's not in Canada. That's interesting. Do I have a PayPal available on there? I think I got something for you. I got something for Michael. Here you go. Check this out. Oh no, it's what it is. Boom. There you go. So there, I think that we should do it. PayPal.me/hypro. That should take you directly to kind of it's our business. It's my business PayPal, but that should suffice if you're looking to support directly. Add to the war chest for what we're trying to do here, right? So feel free. And Michael, thank you in advance if you are able to follow up. Yep, 13-year commitment, Haiti Tech Summit. We need Truth, Reconciliation, and Solution Summit for our conference. We don't need enough. We got enough conferences, Regina. We need action. Tori says, I am in the entrepreneurship. I am in an entrepreneurship club in school. I wanted to know, have you ever hosted an event in the state? Okay, specifically your book is coming up. It would be great to do an event here. Oh, okay. I understand what you're saying now. Yeah. Before the COVID was supposed to happen, I do meet and greets. I'm in Florida, so every couple months I try to do a meet and greet. Obviously with COVID, if I canceled, I was supposed to have one, I think in February or January, but it got canceled because of COVID. Actually, no, March. I was supposed to have it in March, but I had it canceled. So yeah, I do it all the time, especially if I ever find myself traveling. I certainly would, I'm certainly open to doing meet and greets, right? Just to meet folks, just to have conversation, network. The meet and greets really it's not even about me. It's about getting a bunch of, because if you're watching me, you're a like mind. Yeah, you care about Haiti and you want to act, right? I hope so. I hope that's the people I have watching me, right? And so getting you guys in a room to network and to actually start potentially working together on your projects, that's the funnest part of doing these meet and greets. And so yeah, we certainly will be doing meet and greets when COVID's over, and certainly when on book tour, I'll try to make time for that to do a book tour. You know what I mean? We'll try to figure that out when that happens. We'll cross that bridge when we cross it. We're in Delma. Do you pay? So in Delma, you pay at the what do you call that? Is it the mayor office? It's like basically it's the mayor's office. Basically, it's like the mayor's White House. There's a specific this I don't want to call it City Hall, but I guess that's the best thing to call it. It's the mayor's house / City Hall is where you pay for that.
Okay. Mia says, why can't Denmark serve as a model for the country? Why can't it? That's a great question. It really needs to. I think a lot of folks do know Denmark has run relatively well compared to others, right? What powers do mayors have? Not much, to be quite honest with you. And the little powers they do have, they're hamstrung because they have no money because nobody pays property tax, right? But some of the things they do is help console the national government on where projects should happen. And another big part of what they do is trash. Sanitation is a big part of their functions. And other very, street signs, things like very small things, disputes, for example, public signs. That's another thing. Like whenever you see a big sign, that's the Mali the mayor's office who allows that to happen. So a lot of small little regulations, things of that sort is what they handle as well. Okay. Terry Daniel says the mayor of Delma should be given out pointers to the Haitian government because he's the only one that seems to be doing it right. I agree with you there, right? But would the rest of the Haitian government listen? Probably not. Funny story, by the way, of Wilson Judy. I on my way back from America one time, me and my wife got front seats in JetBlue, and there was some guy sitting in the front seat, and of course I was annoyed. Haitians be doing that. I'd be annoyed, man. Like, hey, man, I'm like, what's your ticket say? And I yeah. You sit over here, man. It's annoying. I sent toujours en désordre. That shit là-bas, Frank. Right? That was I didn't literally say that, but that was my attitude. Like, you said, man, yeah, we sit here. So me and my wife we're sitting there. And then we started talking, and the whole time, he seems to be getting attention. Like whoever this guy was, the flight attendants are coming up and chatting him up, and he was pretty nice about it too, getting up. Oh yeah, my bad. He sat there. And we start talking, and then about halfway through the flight, I asked him, so what do you do? What do you do? He goes, yeah, I'm a business. Interestingly, he introduced himself as a businessman first, right? So I'm a businessman, but also, I run he said something to the extent of I run a municipality in Haiti. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I expected him to say like some far off, zone, Akari or some place I never visit. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, buddy. He's like, Delma. I was like, that's when I stopped. I looked and I said, wait a minute. Listen, Judy. And he goes, yeah. Oh man. I literally said, hey man, listen, I love what you're doing in Delma. Hey man, not bad. You could have easily stayed in my seat. I had no, And so, chat up the rest of the flight, exchange numbers. It was the funniest thing, man. To this day, I crack up when I told Wilson Judy, get the hell out of my seat, man. What you doing? Anyways, Shanamil, what's up? Good to see you. Haven't seen you today. What's up? What Mini says, will the section in your book for those who are not able to live in Haiti do business but indirectly participate in the economy or partnership? No, right? Because if you follow me long enough, you know that I don't believe in that. I believe that if you have any chance for your business to be successful in Haiti, you have to be here physically. There's no shortcuts, right? Now, after your business is mature and you got the processes in place, and that can take 5-10 years, then you can really start doing a little hands off and be a little more in the States. But Haiti, there's no shortcuts. There isn't. I would never create a section like that, even if I do know there are some ways to do things like that, but I would never encourage or give people the idea that Haiti is a place that you can do these sort of remote businesses. Haiti is a place, if you can be here physically, you be here physically, period, while you're running your business. Otherwise, you set up a way where you're in the country at least every other week, something like that, but you have to physically be here. There's no shortcuts in Haiti. Haiti is a jealous mistress, and if you're not here physically, you aren't going to be successful, right? So thanks for that question, though, White Mini. Always appreciate it. Always appreciate your comments, right? Michael Ange, thank you so much. I will expect your name to be in the little ticker tape next week. Okay. And I'll probably add paypal.me as well there for folks who are of a different assortment. If you want to come to Boston, let us know. Tori, thank you. I will keep that in mind. Thank you so much, sir. And listen, guys, we are done. 3 hours in. I was done about 40 minutes ago, but you guys kept asking me questions, asking me comments. As I promise you, I read every comment on air. No excuses. I stick around. I read them all. So I want to thank you. If you guys can stick around and watch me, I have the least decency to read your comments and read them on air. So I appreciate it so much. Remember, guys, SeeJeanty, YouTube, right? Make sure you subscribe. We have lots of content, I've been to a lot of cool places, a lot of cool things you have no idea about Haiti. If you're new here, please make sure you subscribe. Check out in whatever your video you like the most. I got a lot of different playlists. You go to the homepage, I organize it really nice. I got like a Haiti Biz playlist. I have a driving in Haiti. I have droning in Haiti. I have just these touristic sights and sounds. And so whichever you like the most, please help a brother out. Share it. That's how we can get the word out that Haiti isn't what they've been told. So share that video after you subscribe. The podcast, while we're not in the country, we have the podcast happening. It's on every single thing. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google. We're on, did I mention Spotify? Of course, on the channel, we created a brand new playlist just for the podcast. And we have these awesome folks. Last week, we interviewed, ready for this? The Amazon Prime woman. So this is what Rochelle Senlove is called. The Amazon Prime woman. She made this movie, La Belle Vie, that documented basically the Haitian diaspora experience that a lot of us can relate to, trying to re-engage with who we are in the country and the shock of moving back and re-engaging the culture on the island and the stories of your family and your family history. All that is documented in a 1-hour documentary on Amazon Prime. You haven't watched it yet. La Belle Vie. Let me type that in for you guys. La Belle Vie, right? And so I had the incredible opportunity to interview Rochelle. So if you haven't watched the video just yet, please watch that video. And then go listen to the interview we had. And now to really show her some love, she's a full-time filmmaker. That's all she does. And so if you really like what she did, and you want her to be the next Haitian Duvernay, she has a Vimeo. The link's on the video on the podcast. And go buy a copy. Right, go buy a copy. It's only $14, right? But it's going to help her tremendously produce more content. I was talking to her. And she didn't tell me what she's working on next, but she did hint that it's Haiti related, right? And so the more we can get people like that active and doing things to tell our story, the better it is. So definitely go listen to that podcast and show her some appreciation. And of course, if you like what we talked about today, 3 hours in, because we had so much great conversation, so much great information shared, 3 hours. If you stuck through it, I need you to share this stream. Share it through your friends. Share it on your Facebook. Share it in groups, right? Because we had an incredible episode where we talked about some really important Haiti biz news topics. But most importantly, we share it because it's the return on information. And besides, you guys are co-hosts. If you guys who are all contributing, you guys are co-hosts. You are running this. This Haiti Biz News is as equally yours as it is mine, right? And so you just worked your tail off here for the past 2-3 hours. Come on, share your hard work. Share it. So share the stream. And then guys, listen, we'll be back every Sunday at 11 a.m., right? So make sure put on your calendar on your phone, put a little count Haiti Biz News Sunday 11 a.m. Put it on your phone, so you don't miss it, or at least hit that little notification so as soon as we come online, you'll know. All right. And again, that's where we're going to end it. Listen, until we're back at it again, guys. We'll be back at it again. Peace.